Thanks for joining us, Gak. We need you to go ahead and do the intro right now. Hit it.
Oh, are you
where's
live?
Mark?
Just live
We're
right
live.
now. Let's
We're
go.
live.
All
Just
right.
went live.
Hello and welcome to the Arcade Hangout. We're a bunch of goofballs that burp, fart, vape, eat, pretty much anything disgusting you can think of. We've done it. I think we haven't exposed ourselves except for maybe Gleek a little. But yeah, so what episode would this be? Bonus.
This is episode bonus 219.
219. All right, guys. So I'm going to kick this off with my Jimbo. This is a 10, number 10.
Oh,
I'm
very
drinking.
You got a lot of
I'm
mood lighting
drinking
there, Gak.
shitty Keystone.
Keystone.
oh,
Nice.
geez, it's
Keystone
almost like
Lights.
Bud Light. Jesus.
So I brought my son home 5 weeks ago from college because all this Corona bullshit, and these were all in his fridge,
Oh,
sitting in my Primo Monster Energy drink beer fridge, taking up valuable space.
yeah, that's not good. You gotta tell him to drink
It's
that.
like
shit.
taking away space from the treehouse beers I got from Leo.
So for
and
you,
stuff.
energy drinks are beer. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
So when you say energy drink, it's a beer.
so what
yeah.
I was saying earlier was by the power of Keystone, give me strength. All right, guys, this is number 10 for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and chug this.
Hey,
Might
cheers,
as well-
buddy.
Let's kick this shit off, right?
Oh, you-
Okay,
you,
cheers, everyone.
Wait, did you say it's number
Shit.
10 for the night?
This is number 10 for the night.
Nice.
Okay, let me take a breath here.
Right.
Hey, nice.
Anybody else
Oh,
want to
man.
chug? Go for it.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Ah,
Gak,
this is
you-
a
you been-
12% I ain't chugging this fucking thing.
Gak, I've been drinking hard alcohol since 7 o'clock. Or
How is
yeah,
that
7
keying
o'clock.
out?
It's green.
I know.
The bottles. Look at that.
No beer.
There we
No
go.
beer?
Here we
Now
are,
with
the magic man. Where's
So
Mock?
it's empty.
Oh,
So is mine.
nice.
Where's
Yeah.
Mock?
Yeah, yours is non-existent. So
And now for Andrew's next trick.
welcome everybody. We're the self-quarantine arcade hangout Saturday night special edition. I love all you guys, and it's fun.
Rest of the Valkyries.
And now I need to go grab my another can. But
Kill the
Nice.
rabbit.
We're
Nice.
starting with the love. I love it.
yes,
Absolutely.
So I there's 5 cans of this fucking shitty ass beer left in my fridge, and
Well,
So
when
challenge
you
is-
are you
mark
gonna
my
finish
fucking
it?
words, this shit is gone before we're done
Nice.
tonight.
Oh,
Well,
let
he's
me
a
know.
college
Nice.
kid. Yeah. He
Let
has
me
no
know when you get
excuse.
to
Dave,
number
what's yours?
4 or whatever. Yeah.
no, he's
Play
on,
this.
He just killed number 10. So he's going on to 11.
Yes.
Nice.
Can you drink them this fast, Gak?
Well, I don't. You saw my last one, so.
Shotgun it.
That was
challenge.
And this
Was
is-
that
I
wasn't a
wanna do
12 ounce either, the Gak. That was a 12
No, that was
wasn't it?
12 ounce. 12 ounce. Yeah.
Oh, it's 12 ounce. Okay. It looked like a
So
12
a quick shout out to if any of you guys here are on it. I think Seabart is. I'm not sure the rest of you guys. There is my buddy Joe Abate, local here. He started this Facebook group called the Quarantine Selfies or something like that.
Yeah, he posts like 3 or 4 pictures a day. It seems
Yeah.
like.
So today I've been going nuts, having fun in there. I did a live feed earlier, playing some games. So yeah. So this one goes out to you guys. So
All right.
have
Awesome.
a good time.
Cool.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go grab another can and
Can.
And a beer.
Can.
Do that. I actually have to go grab the power supply from
Grab a set of cans.
laptop,
Okay.
So I'll be right back too.
all right, I'll grab 2 cans. Fuck it.
Lisa.
You just need the helmet.
Awesome. What the fuck? Everyone just all right. Oh, so how's everyone doing?
His laptop's pretty important. If it dies, the show goes off here very quickly.
Good point. Good point. Oh, so
But how have you been, Leo? You're looking a little shaky there, buddy.
yeah, no, I shaved Monday. I'll probably end up shaving tomorrow, but I usually do it like once a week just to because it gets long and gray and it actually irritates the shit out of me eventually. So,
Yeah.
but it's not like I'm going anywhere, so I mean, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So like, it's just more of like for my pleasure. You know?
No, my
I
neighbor
think
said
I've
that-
got about 2 months before I can't see. Usually. Yeah, about
this is
2 months.
getting
2 months.
This is
But
getting
this-
ridiculously. I mean, this is like
Yeah.
this,
fucking. Oh,
this is like
Yeah, Seabart's got like the Fred Savage thing going.
he
yeah.
does.
I
Yeah.
have I keep my hair normally around like a 4. So I work
Oh,
in the
wow.
kitchen, so I need to like have the hair
Uh-huh.
down a bit so it's under the hat and crap. But like
Yeah.
I was due for a haircut like couple of weeks,
Yeah.
maybe a month
Mhm.
before this happened, and then it hit the ground running. And it's like,
Yeah.
neighbor did
my
offer
back-
to cut my hair, but
My back and sides are a
With the
1.5
weed whacker.
clipper. Yeah,
Oh,
usually.
yeah, weed whacker.
Well,
So
It
for
was a
me,
beautiful day. Yep. What's up?
For me, I halfway because I'm a cheap ass, and the other half is because the way I always was before. I used to have super long hair. I used to get my hair cut like once or twice a year, just like trimming,
damn,
Yep.
like a
But-
woman.
Yeah. Well, shit. No, my
Hit the
wife.
freak.
It's like fucking 5 weeks on the dot. $125 goddamn dollars. By the
Oh
way.
shit! Because
Yeah.
I think Carrie gets her hair trimmed or whatever like every 4-5 months. I don't know. She needs to come on here.
125?
Yes.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Well, because
yeah.
there's hair dye involved,
Yeah,
and
fucking women.
maybe
Yep,
curling
color.
and some
Yep.
other bullshit. And
Yep.
she's her good friend, so of course she tips heavy and all that.
So
That's
is that
fine.
the
Whatever.
discount rate?
Women haircuts are really
if we want to
fucking
compare
expensive.
her wine and hair budget to my beer and hair budget, I'm like way beyond her. So
Hey, what's up,
I'm
Carrie?
good.
Speaking
Hey.
of Carrie, we
I
were
know.
discussing haircut frequency,
Yeah.
and I was trying to remember because yours is like every few months, and
Yeah.
whereas mine's like every 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
my
could've-
wife's like every 5 weeks, and it's like $125 or some bullshit.
Oh,
I'm like,
Jesus. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways, like I
Chris,
said,
I have to look good
yes.
for you, Chris.
Yeah.
if
that's
we wanna-
right. That's-
if I
that's
want to
what she said.
compare her wine and hair budget to my beer and hair budget, I'm like way out of balance there.
There's no
Yeah, but-
argument.
It's all
Right.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can throw in a couple arcade games in and it's still not even close.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and we just got haircuts literally like maybe 3 days before all this shit went down.
Oh,
So
you guys got
Oh,
lucky.
nice.
just
Nice,
a
yeah.
hair
Lucky
over 5
bastard.
weeks ago we got haircuts.
Yeah.
hair.
That's so
No, I'm
crazy.
still
to
teetering
think.
between shaving, just fucking taking the clippers and going. "Vroom."
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen some people do that
I
actually.
might have to do that soon.
Uh,
It's like having a pillow on top of my pillow when I sleep
Mm.
at night. Like it's just
Yeah.
like a big poof.
It's been cold
That's-
out here,
yeah.
so this hasn't bothered me. But if it gets hot 80s or 90s, this is
Mm.
gonna just be ridiculously.
Today
yeah.
it was 70.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
we were in the mid 60s today. It was beautiful. The
My
sun was
balcony
out.
door is still this far open because it's 60 something. You know?
Mhm.
So
Nice.
Carrie, in case you didn't catch it, I'm doing kind of like the Chris from Rockland instead of the Dave from Buffalo today. So he's doing the Bud Lights, I'm doing the Keystone Lights.
Oh wow.
I'm
Yeah.
really
No,
living
that's
it up today. Already
Who
had
are
10.
you?
I
Fucking
know.
10. Yeah. Dave, how many Bud Lights have you had?
You're
Chris, you're
starting
3
from
hours
our
later.
poker game.
Dave, can you count still, or
Yeah.
At one point, he
Count
had 6
chips.
beers in front of him when we were playing poker.
Yeah.
6 antes, yeah.
And,
Man,
but
I really was tempted to
And his
do that,
daughter
but
was
I-
on for a bit too.
he was,
Yeah.
and his wife,
Oh, nice.
absolutely. His son popped in as well too. We had a nice
Were
little.
they
yeah.
bringing in
The whole
refills?
family.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dave, we can't
Yeah.
hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was good. I'm doing. The poker was fun. Gak, you got to get in it. It
Yes,
was.
I'm
It was
sure I
it
would
was a good
enjoy
time.
Yeah, we had Barbie in there.
There was
and
8 of us. Yeah, Steve was there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really?
Barbie,
Oh,
Bardelli, Adam. Yeah, we had a
Yeah,
bunch
I
of.
mean, that alone, man, just to be able to hang out
Yep.
with him for a little bit.
Clint was there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Oh
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
I bet.
Good.
Yeah.
Shit.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm
that's why I'm feeling.
professional.
That's why I'm tipsy already because we started drinking and didn't stop at 8 o'clock my time.
All right. So, was there any kind
No,
of like
7
pretty
o'clock.
easy hands that happened? Wasn't Orange Whip in there with you guys too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Orange Whip. Sure.
Well, Dave
Nice.
had an endless supply of flushes
Oh
that
god,
he was
oh,
pulling
yeah.
out of his
he
ass.
Was, he was pissing people off. Yeah, very much. So.
Mostly me.
He was cheating, clearly.
'Cause I'm like, there's no way he's got another
It was
flush.
free chips, so Dave never got that
Yeah.
lucky with cards in his life, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. I
can't
I
remember
have
Dave
to.
or-
I owe him some Monopoly money. Yeah.
You know what was funny is I had 2 games going. I had the fake money, then I'm playing a real money game now. And then I'm
Oh
like,
shit.
Oh, what a mental shift that
be
must
careful.
be.
Be careful.
Yeah, right.
I know.
All
Especially
in.
you've
Oops,
been
wrong game.
drinking.
shit.
So Leo or Dave, I can't remember if either one or both you guys were there. I'm sure at least one of you were there at the Brofest 2. It was at one of your guys' rooms, or maybe you guys were sharing the same room.
It was me. That's when we met Bardelli, right? When he was or Hammer or no? With
No,
John.
that was
no,
that
it
was
was
three.
the year-
That was three.
that
But
was three.
go ahead. We met
So
in Brofest
two.
3. Good. Yep.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
it was like super late, and you guys were like, "Oh, there's a poker game going on over here. Come on, Gak, let's go." I'm like, "Fuck it, all right."
Yeah.
So we go over there, and John Jacobson's pretty hammered, and I'm like, my only goal is just to take him out. I couldn't help
That's
it.
a good goal.
Yeah.
That's
That
I
was the year
fucking
he came
smoked
back.
him in like 3 hands.
Yeah.
He was so pissed.
I do remember that. That's the night he came back.
Then
to
he
the fucking
smokes a
cigarette
pack of
lighter.
cigarettes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Oh,
times.
good.
Good times.
I
Again,
don't know if
we-
it was like a $10 or $20 buy-in, but like his money was gone quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had like 15 people smoking at one goddamn lighter that was sharing across
Oh.
everyone. Oh, God Almighty.
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh
Fucking
man.
Yeah, we met Bardelli at 3, the Brofest 3. Remember
Brofest
we
3,
yeah,
yeah.
Oh
because
yeah.
it was the much smaller event too. Yeah, 'cause
I
we-
didn't meet him till probably the following Grinkfest.
yeah. The
So,
legend
yeah.
grew because remember we didn't
Yes.
like him, but the first night he was a real pain in the ass. Then it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. And then I know he did some coke when he went outside and came back much better. But yeah, absolutely. So-
Some coke.
Is he gonna join us tonight? There was talk of
What
that.
the
He's
fuck?
tucking his kids in the bed.
Okay.
Yeah. Dave, he was the game he was talking about earlier. I know you were mentioning that I think off here. What game is he trying to
Got this ambush old black and white bazooka type thing that
Oh.
two and he bought it and it's so big he can't bring it into his house.
Oh,
So
shit.
basically on the poker thing, he actually basically is gonna give it to Steve and he paid $1,200 for it. But he's like, you can have it if you just pay shipping. I can't get it into my house. I
Oh
want
my
somebody
God.
to have it, you know.
Wow.
A donation to the Grinkers Museum.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a couple of deals out here lately, and it's just like, oh, I'm out of room, and I'm sure with the, the pandemic and all
Not
that,
going
maybe some-
out.
Fucking
Yeah.
Crystal
Oh, I mean, I go. Oh
Castles.
no, I go out for a
Ah.
game. I go out for a game.
For a good deal, yeah.
I did.
Yeah, the right game.
That-
Yeah,
that-
exactly.
did.
That
If I-
Crystal
it-
Castles. Ugh.
Yeah, there was was a really good deal on Crystal Castles. There was a good deal on a Star Castle. I
Ah.
love me some Vector.
Zaxxon.
Yes, that's right. The
Oh, yeah.
Zaxxon's still available, which I think
that
is
the
so funny.
The
cocktail or
Popeye?
upright?
What? That's the upright.
Okay, there was a cocktail Zaxxon. I thought I saw.
Oh.
recently.
So this was a deal in the Lower Lake over in Napa area, and it was like multiple. It was Star Castle, Zaxxon. I think there was a Gyrus.
Oh shit! I was just making a joke. I didn't realize there really was a sex.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
No, no.
think Napa grabbed those.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, because I saw them, I'm like, oh damn. I mean, mainly
Fucking
because.
Napa Chris, he nabs all that shit.
Oh yeah, but he left the Zaxxon. That's what was funny. Because I found
Yes.
out that it was him from
he
Gino.
said it was in awful shape. I saw that post. Yeah.
Oh, did he post on?
yeah,
What
he
did
said
he
it
post?
was.
Was
It
it
was
on?
on KLV. It wasn't the NorCal one. It was the
Oh, okay.
Grabs one that Kalen created. It was
Oh,
like
okay.
Grabs for this year or something like
Something
that.
like that. Oh yeah, they
He's got
created like
threads
3 years
that.
ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. For some reason he doesn't post in the NorCal, probably because he gets hate from the rest of us
Oh.
collectors. Fucking his name's Chris with a K like me.
Yeah.
Fucking guy
Chris.
grabbing all our games.
Chris, why are you grabbing the games, Chris?
Chris.
Yeah, but it was because he left. So the only thing left is his Zaxxon. It was $400 for his
Yeah.
Zaxxon.
Yeah.
And you hate to say with
And it
everything
was-
going
he
on, you
got like
probably find
a-
some great
It
deals.
looked
now,
like a
yeah.
blue
Yeah.
Donkey Kong, a Gyrus, or Donkey Kong cabinet anyway.
Yeah, I forgot what
in
was in it, but
The
it was
blue Nintendo, a Gyrus,
the
and
Zaxxon
a
still
Star
there.
Castle. He got all 3 of those.
yeah, and the Star Castle was $400. I mean, he probably got a deal because he took
Yeah.
a bunch of games.
I'm
I'm sure he
sure.
got a better price, fucker.
Yeah.
But I mean, I couldn't. I looked at him like I have no room. Like, and
Yeah.
it would be cool because it was a good deal, and if my ripoff, if I had no hope whatsoever of having ripoff working, then I would have been more motivated to get it. But it's like I still have hope that ripoff will work, and I can put my my Cinematronics multi in ripoff
Uh-huh.
rather than that. It looked like the overlay was missing. I didn't see the overlay in it, but maybe that was just the function of. And the picture he took, all of the games were off, thus questioning whether they were actually working or not.
Yeah.
Which at least Chris has this, he has the chops to be able to get stuff going.
Mhm.
If he doesn't, then he has others, and yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But that was a little painful to to pass up and be like, oh. And
Yeah.
actually, Lower Lake is where I got my Ms. Pack.
Oh, really?
That's where when I was
Oh.
talking about how there was, how I went and there was a gal with the fire and the church across the street burned and it blew her, like melted her windows or whatever it was. That's where that's Lower Lake.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Okay.
Crazy.
So I was like, oh, damn it. Yeah, it was more of a room thing. I mean, certainly the pandemic kind of makes you pause, but wear masks and gloves and bring some disinfectant, and I wouldn't let it totally stop me for the right deal. Clearly not. It doesn't stop everybody because
Yeah, I know.
we're having some COVID pickups.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you said, if the deal is right,
Yeah,
You practice proper social distancing,
exactly.
and again, quarantine the shit for 3 days in your car or whatever it takes.
Yep.
That's what I did, and then wipe it all down, and everything's good.
Yep.
But yeah, don't pass up on the deals now for all the people, knocking on the doors of unemployment and economic ruin,
Yeah.
trying to sell off the
Yeah.
collections. We're going to take advantage of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, they need
But,
the
you
money, right?
know,
They're happy to get the money for it, so it's
I'll
not
just
like
kind of like
No,
turn it
yeah,
around
yeah.
and act
Yeah.
like we're
I'm just-
helping them, right?
I know. I
Yeah.
no,
They need
Yeah,
the
right.
Like a
space
vulture.
and they need the money,
snarky
so
joke.
we're there to
Yeah.
help them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, the guy I got from Super Sprint from, he was not hurting. He was doing just fine. Actually, did I mention he's a Clove guy?
No.
No.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. He's just
Okay.
not
Shit.
active, I think.
He's not
Oh,
active.
well,
Yeah. He actually sent me a
We would've
link.
paid
I
attention.
should post it in our Slack. But he there's a link that he linked me to that was the restoration thread for that Super Sprint, like
Oh, really?
fun.
in like
That's
2008
funny.
or 2009.
Wow, that long ago.
Yeah.
Damn. You've been around a long
Wow.
So yeah,
time.
he's super
Yeah.
old school. But anyway, yeah.
I just heard from Mock. I texted
Oh,
him.
yeah.
He texted
So
me
you gotta
back. He
show
said
up?
that no, he's too tired. He is cleaning all day, I guess. So he's just gonna watch
Oh.
a movie and crash.
Yeah.
Cool. She's got herself a house husband. Dust, Windex, vacuum.
I think they all do.
Mm.
We're all in the same boat.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
I mean-
so weird. Just like you think. I mean, I still
This
think
feels
about
like a
how
pain.
like 6 weeks ago we were all like hanging out together in California. Then it's like,
Yes.
now everyone stay home for good.
Yeah.
Or for the
Yes.
For
next
a
couple of
while.
months. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
this is heading into, I think, just finished week 10. I think next week is week
Damn.
11.
Wow.
And I self-quarantined those first 2 weeks, and then they kicked in like the
So
stay-at-home
that was
thing.
before
So-
we even met up in LA.
No, it was after the LA trip
Was it? Okay.
because it was the 10th of March that we got
March?
back.
Oh yeah. Damn. Was
Ah.
that long ago? Wow.
I think it was
fuck,
the 10th was the first weeks. Yeah, so the 10th and then the 17th and then blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So this
Huh.
next week is week 11, I think.
Wow.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, because you
Weeks just
quarantined
turned into-
earlier
I did.
than some.
Well, I did
folks.
because
So,
I
like,
tried
I've
to be
been-
responsible. Yeah, after touching all the airports and bathrooms.
Yeah, when I came
Yeah.
back, I didn't leave for 2 weeks either, and then it was just rolling into.
Yeah,
this.
for
Yeah.
me it was
Get him.
Oh yeah, and you were there longer
Yeah.
too.
Kill.
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roar, 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 roar.
so 5 weeks ago on a Wednesday was my first day. So I'm about 5.5 weeks myself.
Well, yeah, right. But you got delayed, right? Because you were still
Well,
working
yeah.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
Hopefully, there's a Grinkers this year.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
there is a Grinkers
I
this
mean,
year.
I'm pretty sure the Sneak Fest event at the end of May is going to be no go. I
It's
mean,
gonna sneak away.
barring
Ah.
a major, improvement. I mean, and that just kind of sucks too, because that's I know I've said this before, but that's what
all she's got, Captain. If I push
New Hampshire. That's all they, those weeks in that summertime is what they really rely on for so many different places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna
And
really
so
suck.
for end of July, CAX, California Extreme, they still have not posted anything official, but
Yeah.
I pretty much am 99% sure it's going to get canceled. But there was,
I think
Yeah.
there are some organizers who are still thinking that they're going to be holding it.
Or it might just be like if they
They're the
can't
ones that
event-
inject
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they
Then
can't
inject
live
a little
without-
Clorox into
Yeah.
their
No.
system.
Doing the bleach high colonics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, like there was two things on that topic. Was
So stupid.
Damon Clausen? He used to go by Avid Geek on KLV way back when. He hasn't been on in a few years, but he chimed in on the thread is on Facebook. It's like the California Extreme fan group or something like that is the group on Facebook.
Hey, Scott, what's up?
Oh, he's not in
Working
yet.
on it.
He's
So
still testing.
He said that he's like, they really should just kind of postpone it, call it good for this year, do it next year. But in place of it, they should still do like T-shirts or something, like make it commemorative, make it something kind of goofy that ties into it, and people buy shirts at least to show support, and be back next year. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Hey, was that Leo?
No.
Yep.
What's up, everybody?
Absolutely. Not too
All
bad.
right.
Yourself?
I see a 720 and I think Fire Escape next to it.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm in the living room.
Fire Escape. Wow, how'd you get that? Those are such a
Yeah.
rare game.
I don't know. Someone tricked me into trading a full color side art tabber for one.
Oh, what a dick. Oh, wow.
What an asshole.
Sucker.
Yeah, I know.
Gushing.
Score big
No
time.
regrets.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
regrets.
Somebody tricked me into trading a Tron for one.
Oh, wow.
No, right? Also, no
With
no
a beautiful
regrets.
skull painted on the side. too.
The
It's
weird
true,
thing
that
are both
added
of
up.
those gone from that said person that traded you guys? But yet I can see a Hyper Sports in the background that's still around because that's like the one that doesn't have enough value to sell it, I guess.
I
The
love
ones
that.
like cash, so they're gone, right?
Well, both were unique situations. The Tron, I was so excited to get it, and it got here, and I'm like,
well, both were
I don't like this as much as I thought I did.
I know.
No, right? Yeah, it looks really cool though.
It was cool. And if I had like a huge place where I would like, the ambiance of a nice working Tron is beautiful. But then the guy that bought it, like he's Boner City. He rests
Boner City.
Boner City.
And you weren't Boner City for my
Now
Tron?
entering Boner City.
the guy loves the Tron.
I
it
couldn't
was
even get there.
was like so pumped and like restored
awesome.
whatever wasn't restored on it. I can't remember what he sent me pictures, but he's showing me in his lineup.
As long as he kept the skull.
It's in Canada. It's in Canada with the skull, I'm sure.
With the skull, yeah.
I think he did like the front, the coin door and everything.
Oh yeah, because I didn't do anything.
I'm gonna look for that and say, hey, you still got the skull?
Skull. Yeah, ask him because I did everything. I like
It's
carefully blocked it
Very
off.
rare, limited
It was just so cool.
edition.
Okay, I gotta go stop my dogs from fucking barking.
I felt bad even like as it got here that I'm like, I don't have room for all these games. Like, what am I? And I'm like,
Well, and you were so sweet because you sent the email and you're like, I don't want you to think I'm an asshole or however you put it.
I kept the Hyper Sports.
Yeah. I know, right? Like, I gotta get my dogs.
Hyper Sports because I was like,
Pull the Spy Hunter.
Yep.
I sold the Spider.
Now that Hyper Sports has a lot of history with it, just so you know.
I know.
Okay, so backing up, it was originally, well, not originally, but at one point it was in Zhao's hands.
I know, because he said that. He goes, that was my Hyper Sports.
And then he traded it with Dylan, aka my buddy Tron guy.
Who's been trying to get into our IRC tonight and failing.
Is he? Oh.
Yeah.
He's not very I don't know, savvy with computers, I'll say.
Yet he loves Geo 7s and knows those inside and out.
He refused to have a cell phone for many, many years. He'd have like a flip phone piece of shit.
So he's a Buffett. He's a Buffett.
Is he in 1990s or what decade is he?
I think so. Yeah. So
does Dylan have a big beard?
No, he's clean shaven. Yeah.
I need to play a Buffett clip.
Right. So it was Dylan's,
Why
and
can't
then it
you
was
grow an ass?
and then it was mine. I think I bought it from him though. I think he traded actually Warlord's cocktail for that machine.
Damn.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Zhao has some kind of magical powers to like get people to give him crazy deals. I guess he's just handsome that way or something. I don't know. Anyways, and then Dylan, I got it from Dylan, and then you got it from me. So, and then the other thing was both Hyper Sports and Track and Field boards that you got from me. Both boards have been at California Extreme 2 or 3 years, and Hector Fly, the world record holder, he's got stupid scores on both those games.
Yeah, I have Fly world records, but the track and field I just sent to be repaired, and it's getting back, coming back. Yeah, I was getting no guy. It was probably just, he said it was. I go, look, it was only $60 for this guy to repair, and I go, I don't care if you just reseated a chip. Is that all? Yeah, he goes, yeah, it was. I'm like, I don't care.
Oh, really? It was just something stupid like that, like just cleaning up a chip leg.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind. It's $60, and he had, because I put it on like repair in 2018, and then he had said, yeah, I can fix that. So like 2 weeks ago, I plugged it in again. I'm like, oh, it's still not there. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I'll do it. He goes, whoa, 2018. Wow, that's a while ago. Yeah, send it to me. But he's already mailing it back to me. So
nice.
But my son, that's what he wants to play every day, and I still can't beat the pole vault.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the secret. You gotta hold it down. Like, I don't know the pole vault.
The angle. It's you got to get right before the finish line, whatever. And it's the angle. It's like 45 or 47 degree angle.
Wait, so do you hold it down until a certain point?
Until it gets to that angle.
45. It
somewhere around there. It's around 45, 47 degrees.
Yeah, because my son's. I'm like, I can't do it. I go, Carter, I give up. I can't do that. I can't do the pole vault.
Whatever the button is, you got to hit it right before he goes past the line.
All right.
And you got to hold it to like around 45 or 47.
But you do hold it, right? The more you hold it,
it'll count up.
Looking. I guess I didn't realize.
Holy shit!
Oh, no way.
Oh,
who are you?
Is this Jesus?
Oh, you're muted.
No, he's still connecting to the audio. Give it a second.
Wow.
What the hell? I like
The
that.
ghost of Christmas past and then some.
Right?
Yeah.
This is a special day.
Brett should be on here.
Years.
Kevin should be on here.
Welcome, caller.
We need Crafty on here. So
He's still working on it.
Right?
Oh, there he is.
Then they'll just talk. They'll talk super smart
Can you hear
stuff.
me?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Yay!
Hey.
Holy
Turn it up,
cow.
buddy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I miss you. You know, I know
Holy
you don't
shit.
drink, but I'm gonna drink for you. So cheers.
Thanks,
Hey,
buddy.
Gak, what number is that? Is that 4,
He's gonna
3,
kill that beer for
2, or
you.
1?
Yeah. Wow. It's awesome to see you, Adam.
How you guys been? It's been forever. Holy cow.
I was number 11.
Well, you know, you got
man.
a week or
All
two,
right, Gak.
and we can. Let's
How
see.
many
Were
left do you
Jim
have?
and I dating the last time you and I
No,
you were on the show?
you weren't.
Oh my
That's how long
Did
it's
I just
been.
break any news to you?
I had to
That
discover
put-
that
that
on
puts it in
Facebook. I was
perspective.
scrolling through pictures one day. This was a while ago. It's like I'd see Jim and I see you,
Wait,
and then
we're
I'd see you
dating?
together. I'm like, wait, what?
Wow.
I forget somebody. I asked
You
somebody
have been out of the loop.
on the down low, and they're like, oh yeah, they're together
yeah.
now. So
Yeah,
Shit,
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
long
At that point, it's
time.
probably like, oh yeah, like for a couple of years now. Yeah.
how you guys been?
Well, we've been hurting
We're-
since you left.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. We've been pining for you. How have you been? How are you spending quarantine? What are you?
Yeah, so I don't know if I told you guys, but like I live way out in the woods. I live like a good quarter mile, if not more, out in the woods. So I'm just surrounded by nature, and so it's not too bad. I mean, you know, I go out and take walks, and you know, we have a pond here where you can fish and do all sorts of outdoors types of stuff. And so, you know, like my no, I don't. My coworkers are hurting though, because they live in the city and they're just like they're afraid to go outdoors. They're afraid that if they walk out their door, they'll get the virus or whatever. So they're hurting. But for me, you know, it's not too bad at all.
So do you normally go into an office? So has that changed for your life?
No. So I used to work exclusively from home for a good 8 or 9 years, and then I switched jobs. This was a few years back. And I worked for a company that's a good, I don't know, it's about an hour and a half commute. And one of the arrangements I made with them is said, look, I'm used to working from home. I don't mind, you know, working here, but I really have to divide my time. I work from home at least half the week, if not more, and then drive into the office. And they said that was fine. So I work 3 days out of the week from home, and then 2 days I have to drive in. And so it's not much of a change for me because now I just am back to working from home, which I'm used to doing. So
okay,
yeah.
Nice.
How about the rest of you guys?
Well,
yeah, where should we start?
I've been working from home 1 day a week, like telecommuting 1 day a week, and honestly, I thought I would like this a lot more because I like telecommuting, but doing it every day, I think is a little shockingly was I found difficult. Because I'm kind of extroverted and I feed off energy of other people. And as much as I like not being in the office, I feel like I'm more proficient, I can do a lot more stuff when I'm not interrupted. But having those other people to talk to and stuff around me in my cubicles, I do miss that. I think in the ideal world, I would work from home 2 or 3 days a week.
Right.
But
having a house full
like
of
every
arcade
other.
games is quite a distraction.
It's not that at all. It's just I just miss the social interaction.
Do you have like group Skype or anything with the coworkers, Jimbo?
Yeah, we do happy hours every Friday.
Okay.
Fridays have been a deadly day for me because I end up having like 3 happy hours on Fridays with different people. I have more happy hours. It's no joke. I have more happy hours now than I did before this whole thing because everyone wants to do a virtual thing and it's so easy to do. And I end up drinking so much that it's like I need to give my liver a rest, like a couple days. Like now it's like a health thing. It's like, oh shit, like I really need to not drink today because it's so easy to do it every day.
Yeah, for me,
anyways, that's me.
I mean, absolutely, I would not want any hardships to fall on other people or anything like that. But I'm loving my situation right now. I've been tooting this horn for like 10 plus years at my work. Like, you guys, we could be totally working from home. It's a trust thing, right? I provide what you need in the timely manner, and if I can't meet your date, then I say here's an issue. But other than that, there's no reason why I couldn't work from home, at least 4 days out of the week, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been tooting that horn for years. And I've really had to bite my tongue with because I have an inner group. There's only like 4 or 5 of us that work closely together. And we have a group Skype chat that every day, like, Monday through Friday, we're all very interactive, kind of as if we were sitting next to each other. But I've been really biting my tongue to, say that anymore because I don't want to offend anybody like, oh, that's perfect, it's great for me,
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, we just do the best we can with what we got, right?
I think it'll be interesting to see how things change, like when all this blows over, because I think companies will start to realize, wow, we were actually just as productive letting everybody just stay home, and they saved a crap ton of money because you don't have to have power running to the buildings. They can shut the AC or heating or whatever off.
And just look at like the impact of like traffic on the highways and there really is kind of an environmental thing going on too. There's less pollution and stuff.
Sure.
So.
I've heard it's raining out in California, which is like a minor miracle, right? I mean,
not here. No, it was 90 degrees where I'm at today.
But like it rained like twice, so like which is,
it was warm on the coast. I think Southern California was getting the rains that we had like a week ago. Hey, Gino, can you hear us?
Hey, Gino.
Okay?
Yay! Yes, we can hear you.
I think I finally got this thing to work.
Much better than last time you tried. That's awesome.
You got to crank the volume up a little bit.
A little bit louder.
Microphone.
Yeah.
If you can on the mic.
Any better?
We can hear you. You're just kind of faint.
Yeah, you're a little on the.
All right, I got to mess with it.
Yeah, we'll end up talking over
good.
It will be interesting to see how the world changes. Like I loved the perspectives that they had when they were talking about Earth Day, and like normally there'd be all these people going out and having marches to be for environmental awareness and all that, and instead everybody's staying home and we have clear skies and you can see manatees in the ocean in Florida and like all the revisiting the wildlife in Yosemite, and it's a better Earth Day for the Earth.
Sure.
Than if we had
it's interesting.
We all celebrated
a long time.
I don't know how much of this is BS or not, but I've seen a bunch of pictures posted online where they're like inner city, different countries usually, but inner city areas that were like densely populated normally, and you see like wildlife wandering through the streets. Like
I Am Legend, right?
No, Gag, it's for real. My one of
Exactly.
my uncles, he drives a big rig.
Okay.
So he's still driving all over the country, bringing toilet paper to the masses.
What's his number?
And
Toilet paper
he
rolls and
drove
everyone.
into San Francisco, and he was like, you could see like way out in like he's like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, so it is legit.
Yeah, they have the coyotes. I mean, which we know the coyotes are all around San Francisco, but then to see the pictures of them, and yeah, those are legit. The dolphins swimming in the canals in Venice, not so much. Yeah, that's the salt water.
Well,
and the
it's funny
fresh
you're
water.
saying because our work has had we've had some calls too, and they're like, yeah, I mean, everyone's working from home. Where in our company, it's like, yeah, I think this might be a wake up call for I know I wouldn't be investing in real estate if this is like the CEO of the company. Like I wouldn't be investing in real estate if I was like an investor. It's like, oh, okay. And I kind of took that as even when this gets turned around, we might be from home permanently because we haven't seen that much of a drop off from work and people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if this is like sort of the next thing. So we had the thing in the 80s when everyone started moving to the suburbs, right? Because the inner cities were getting kind of seedy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, into the late 90s and the early aughts, like we all started moving towards the inner cities, and that's where everyone wanted to be because that's where all the action was. That's where the cool the clubs were and the cool bars and the restaurants and stuff like that. But now I think people, after seeing the devastation that's happened in New York City, especially, it's like people are getting, I think, a little bit more concerned about inner cities and being close to downtowns, and they want to start pushing out to the suburbs.
Put this image in your head of Times Square being empty.
Seriously. But
eerie.
I just remember a time when it's like, who the hell wants to live in the suburbs? I could see like Adam. I know you live out in the woods, that's a different kind of thing.
I live in a suburb. Yeah,
you live, but the idea of moving into the suburbs is you're in your big investment. I want to settle down in the suburbs. For life. That idea, that's
welcome to the 50s and 60s.
Yes, it's right? Suburbia, the Suburbicon. And, all those.
What would make us want to go back to living like that?
Yeah.
Maybe a
being at home,
the answer.
Maybe a pandemic.
Last little apartment for.
I gotta say this since Carrie's on here too. Before the whole pandemic and stuff, it's funny. I even had this conversation. I had my year-end review with my supervisor, and super cool dude. And he knows that he lets me work from home. This is before anyone could work from home. I was kind of the wild card. They allowed me because I could do most of my job, so from home just fine. And so I was telecommuting 1 day, sometimes 2 days a week. And so we had our little review, and I've been planning this little bit of I've been half serious this whole time about if I could do most of my job, if not all of it, if the courtrooms get outfitted, basically if the courtrooms get outfitted with all their own LCD screens and stuff and technology, where I don't have to wheel a card in or anything like that, I can do 100% of my job remotely. And so I've been kind of teasing that, I would love, because I really like working with the city of Minneapolis, with the city attorney's office. I could stay employed here and move to California. And so
there you go.
And so I planned that. And now, and then here we are.
Oh, Carrie.
Yeah.
I know, right? But he does. But so now we're breaking up because Jim doesn't want to work remotely 100% of the time. This is the announcement.
No, it's just a social interaction. Yeah.
So Gak, when's Jimbo moving in with you?
Yeah.
Now you're going to be an empty nester pretty soon.
Yes, right. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
there's that,
right? Yeah. Hey, my Wonka's done. I was going to get to that eventually, but anyways, so that's kind of a little bit of irony, I guess, in some regards. But
it's good information to have, as they say. I mean, it's good to know that about yourself and about the situation, and kind of think oh, this would be awesome, and it's oh, actually, this would be.
I could do it. I could do it easily 3 days a week. I just need to be around other people, whether that's, it doesn't matter who. I just need that interaction. That's what I miss. But
I'm with you, man. I have the option to do it 100% of the time, but I just can't. I can't do it. I need to go talk to people and.
All things considered, I'm thriving in this because I have all this extra time to work on projects and stuff. So that's what's been keeping me going is working on doing extra videos, doing streams, doing other stuff. Like I can keep myself busy. Like I'm not I'm not depressed or anything. It's just, but when it comes to the, like, I appreciate our happy hour, our work happy hours and stuff, seeing my coworkers. But as far as, but I do find that I do miss that interaction. But the other thing I was going to bring up is, and me and Carrie had this conversation last night. Now, since, you know, I'm 37 going on 38. I wasn't born when there was any like real major, there wasn't like Vietnam, all that stuff, all the world wars, all that stuff. To me, I was trying to just kind of assimilate this and think, like, trying to compare this to a big event that like my parents or, you know, other generations have gone through. And I kept coming back to like, this is kind of similar, not equivalent, but similar to like a war, because it's an event that's going on for, it's not just like one day. It's been going on and on and on, and it's a lifestyle change. And then you got companies like Ford and GM and stuff that are now making masks. They switched gears from making cars, and they're doing that. Like that's the closest thing I come to. I'm like, if when I'm in, you know, when I get pretty darn old, like, is this going to be the big event that I'm telling, you know, like my niece and stuff about? Like, you remember the big pandemic of 2019, 20 or what, or 2020?
Yeah.
But like what do you compare this to? Because it's not like
You go
I
back,
was listening to, you listen to like it was Colbert, Stephen Colbert was talking about like, well, 9/11, everyone's still talking about that. That was one day.
Right.
This people are going to be talking about this for probably the rest of their lives, because this has been going on for, you know, it'll be going on for months.
Yeah. I mean, comparing it to 9/11 for sure. I mean, as far as like a,
yeah, you can't
like,
really put it in the same boat as a war, because it is different, but but
it's not going on for years, and we're not sending people overseas to die. We're just staying here and dying.
But people are, yeah. That's there's that. Yeah,
We're watching Netflix and dying.
We're not. We're watching Netflix.
But if you think about like,
it's one of those events that just changes
parents
the whole nation, right? I mean,
yeah, you can watch
Exactly.
TV, but even with a war, like like my parents and stuff, they'll talk about like you know, like with Vietnam and stuff, and you're watching TV and they're giving you statistics and stuff, but yet it doesn't completely seem realistic, because you're here and they're dying over there,
right?
And you're seeing on TV. So there is kind of that too, and I think a lot of people are treating it, because it's not so black and white, like people aren't getting gunned down and stuff, that they're treating this, you know, the non-believers, the, you know, the COVIDiots that are like, well, it's not going to affect me, you know, that's these other people, you know,
right.
That just kills the old people. Like I'm
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm not old, so it's not going to affect me in any way.
Right.
Yeah, I just have asthma.
This conversation got deep.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I'm old. I just turned 52 the other day. It was my birthday last week. So.
Well, happy
Hey,
Happy birthday, Dave! You had a birthday not too long ago, right?
Birthday.
You had what, like a week and a half ago?
Oh, last week, Earth Day.
No, Dave. Sorry.
Wait, when was your
Dave
birthday?
from Buffalo.
When was your birthday? What date?
April 22nd.
Oh, 15. Happy birthday.
On the 15th.
Oh, week apart.
Happy birthday.
I think Orange Whip was last week.
Yeah, Orange Whip
he was like last Friday.
And Damien from
that's right, same day.
From Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
same day.
and Greenfest. Yeah.
Yeah. So with 9 months previous, we apparently that's a good season for people.
Apparently,
whatever. I don't know what month that is.
Imagine the kids born 9 months from nowish.
That's been another conversation. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Gino, are you still pretty swamped with your work? Because you were really busy, right? Working.
I was up until this all started. I mean, it's kind of tapered off a little bit, but I'm not enjoying working from home. You know, sales, you're supposed to be outside selling. I can't do it in front of a monitor.
Yeah, people need to see your puppy dog eyes, and
there you go.
Okay, I gotta buy your tools. You're too sweet of a person.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been selling a lot of the essential stuff. You know, dust masks, gloves, all the stuff that goes along with the virus. But yeah, it's out of stock everywhere, and everyone wants the exact same thing. But Yeah, it's been a little frustrating working from home. Not only am I working from home, my wife's working from home, and we're homeschooling.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's rough. How old is Ozzy? He's
Ozzy's 10.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fucking tan.
Yeah.
Tan.
Tan. Your mic sounds better, by the way.
Yeah, the levels are good.
It sounds real nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and 10's at least it's old enough to kind of understand, like
Understand ish.
but still, yeah. Any age is like, and I would say that overall, when I see people who are not complying with the social distancing, it's parents with young children. I see lots of parents with young children
or
who are, they're standing 6 feet apart, and their children are all playing together in the driveways and in the on the streets and in the I live by a bunch of hiking trails, and it's like they're all over each other.
No, Ozzy's been at home the whole time. He's been indoors ever since school's been out, and karate. He's taking karate lessons at home. He's doing it on Zoom, just like this. And
that's awesome.
Set up a dojo in the family room.
Beating the crap out of the family dog.
Yeah.
Just taking it down.
Yeah.
Arm bars and
and those are little dogs, so he'd have to work on his leg sweep.
Yeah. Keep the leg.
Keep the leg.
No, that's about it. We take the dogs out for a walk, and that's his PE for school, and so that's about it for being outside.
Yeah. Mostly it's the little kids or teenagers. Where I'm like, no, they've given up. Like, the people who have like the little, they're like, no, that's.
Have they canceled school by where everyone's at? Because I know
for the rest of the year.
Locally they did that.
Yeah.
Okay, rest of the school year too. Yeah, they made that decision this week too.
Yeah, Maryland's supposed to reopen, a couple other states, but not my kids.
Yeah, that's cool.
I kind of thought about this today. Because there's 2 neighbors when I drive down my street that their kids are always playing together, and I'm thinking, all right, it's already been a month. I don't know their situation. Like, I'm still going to work. Maybe they're all home, but it's been a month, and if they're not, well, you're still going out to the grocery stores, I guess.
Right. Yeah, you're still having contact.
But I mean, if it's such a small group, that's almost like your family member.
Yeah.
Because they're neighbors, and they're still like, they're the only people they see. They just hang out and go out in front of the house. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know what you're saying, but I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, I guess they probably could, because it's almost like Amish, because I don't know if you know what I mean. It's like, I don't know what
we do the same. We do the same thing. So my in-laws live, on the other side of the land that we live on. We live on a large parcel of land, but they don't really go anywhere or do anything other than see us, and we see them. And so they come over here and have dinner 2 nights a week, and we go over there and have dinner the other 2 nights a week, whatever. And so, but it's like you said, it's still, we're so close, in proximity, and we don't really see anybody else. So it's kind of like one big family,
Yeah, I kind of thought about it. It's like these. I was like, all right, they're hanging out, but I guess because they hang out every day. There's little kids, and unless maybe the parents maybe they're not even leaving. I don't know. And then it's already been a month. So how long are we going to stay indoors? It depends on the family unit itself. Like, are they leaving or whatever? I'm in the burbs. I'm not in New York City. I'm not in
New York City.
It's like Adam. I mean, not as remote as Adam, but we are in the suburbs of, the city of Buffalo. But it's like, I was just thinking about that today when I was watching the kids play. They're playing every day, the neighbors and them. But I'm like, I guess. I mean, maybe they're not. Maybe the whole family units. Maybe they're not. They haven't left since, and they've been here for a month. Mm-hmm. Everybody looks and sees all these kids, but they're actually a big family because, it's like big love. they're right next door, but they haven't left. It's like they're not going anywhere, but they're still going to get groceries.
They're going to the grocery store.
Yeah,
and they're going to the pet store to get dog food. And cat
the
food.
takeout.
Maybe getting takeout. Yeah, once or a couple weeks,
they have
twice a week.
More, but they're not.
You're exponentially.
It's a
more
people
that are attached.
But they're only affecting the 2 houses, because if both of them are going out,
but then they're affecting everyone. They go to the grocery store.
Kids aren't going anywhere else. Think about it. think about, it's just the two houses next to each other.
Right, but they're still going out, and if they get sick, then they get those out. Yeah,
and if they're asymptomatic and they go to the grocery store and they're spreading
the
it
whole
further.
2 houses will be infected instead of 1 house.
And everyone they go to the grocery store.
and everyone else.
Like, they're not. It's like I still have to go.
And if they go to the playground and play on the toys, then
right. Well, I mean,
family that goes there.
that's the thing that no one
going anywhere else. You're infecting children in a house or a family
or groceries.
You guys say I infect you, you're still here. You're not going out and infecting more people. I'm going out in the world. It's like me going out in the world, like I'm still working. I infect my family, but they're not contacting anybody else besides me.
So it's more limited, but it's still not ideal.
Right.
Like, but it's I mean, like you understand where, like you can see it, but it's not exactly. It's not ideal.
It's not ideal, but you can't isolate everybody in the bubble.
For
it's
outside
like,
people.
Affect my family. They're not leaving, so they're not affecting.
I know, but you're still increasing the
family
vectors.
is left.
Right. You're still increasing the number of vectors. There's more vectors if you get more people together.
Right. And
you
I
have
think
the raster.
Soon, I think maybe another month or two. Hopefully,
I want the vectors.
Way to bring it back.
But someone in each one of those households is still going out to the grocery store to get food.
Yeah.
So if you've got 5 houses, right, that means at least 5 people going out for food, right? And if one of those houses gets sick, and then that then translates to all 5 houses because the kids are hanging out and everyone gets sick. All those 5 points are now going out to the store, as opposed to one who was sick going out to the store. That's 5, literally 5 times the vectors.
And
that's
I
a
think,
stupid math version of it. But
it makes sense if that's true.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we're eventually going to find out with all the once they do some fucking research is how many people actually have it, because a lot of people seem to think either more people have it than what they thought, and which is good and it's bad because then more people fucking have it, but then the death rate is
it would bring down percentages.
Right.
If everyone in this fucking country had it, then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, like the percentage would be like because so many had it. Like nobody.
Wait, what does mean? I missed that.
David says,
"What's that scientific term?"
No. There's no good argument. Like no one's saying poo-poo. That's lame. But like,
but we can't stay in our house for a year because it's not going to either. You have to. The choice is going to be: do I not want to die or do I want to live? You're going to have to make that eventually. There's going to have to be
What's
a
the difference?
Are we going to?
Do I not want to die or do I want to live?
Yeah, we are eventually going to go out.
Or do you want to be in your house ever?
They're probably going to get to a point where they say, if you're older, if you're at bad health, don't go outside. But like people who are not,
like we're not going to talk to anybody.
And that's what they've talked about.
Real numbers here, because it's like, oh, we're all going to stay in here forever. It's like, what are you guys nuts?
I just want to say real quick, as a quick interjection, this
we're not
show
scientists.
is not medical advice.
Yes, we're not scientists.
Recommendations.
Not a scientist. Not a scientist. Not a scientist. Not a scientist.
Oh, but I thought about
this. And
this is not professional advice.
Let's talk about injecting.
Jim, roll a disclaimer.
We
need to do new disclaimer.
But we don't have a political involved one, do we?
No.
Pretty sure
we need to record a
Dave
few.
from Buffalo's kid was like way ahead of the scale on that one, right? Using the bleach wipes or butt wipes.
Oh no!
Oh yeah,
that's right.
The curve, he's eradicating the COVID from his.
So Trump learned everything he got from your kid, I think, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So Trump obviously watches this show.
Oh yeah.
That was funny because that's when you could get
put that on our tag.
Yeah.
Please add that. Yeah. Trump learned
_1
his
watch
disinfectant
show from the Trump
techniques from us.
administration.
Yeah. Now the wipes are like gold.
Now that they dropped the bomb, I'm sorry, I gotta get a beer.
I'm sorry, I have to get a beer. Oh fuck!
No, it should be clear. Please check the CDC website and your local authorities.
Yes.
For
Make me add
recommendations
this
about how you
warning.
should be
Your
behaving.
local.
So in the chat,
health
Tron
authority
guy
will
was
have
bitching
all
about
the
my
information.
lighting sucks in here.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to say, like, all right, Tron guy, what color you want me to do?
Brighten it up. You are a little bit dark.
Yeah, you're
Alexa,
Your face needs a
set
cap
arcade
kit.
lights to
You're
white.
a little devilish right now.
Yeah.
You may not.
There we go.
There you go.
Looks great.
Alexa, set arcade lights to 40%.
Nice. Yeah. Say, can you dial that down a little bit, White?
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
turn it
That's
down, turn it
that's
down.
Is that
great.
still bright?
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
okay.
great.
All right.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
dialed it
You
in,
look a little more
Gak.
human. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my buddy Dylan, aka Tron guy. You like that shit now? All right.
We wanted to see your smiling face. So which Keystone Light are you on now? Yeah, 12.
This would be number 12. Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Yeah, cheers.
And I already, I'll save myself the trip, so I got number 13 waiting.
Oh,
Nice.
okay, there you
Are
go.
you
Baker's
There's
dozen.
2 more left in the fridge.
are you filling them up as you empty them?
2? What do you
Yeah.
mean 2?
Well, no, that's the toilet I'm filling up.
2? What do you mean you only opened 2?
I don't care very much
Just
for
drink
chocolate.
one. How am I pissing?
I can't figure out just
fucking
2.
beer?
So let's pretend you opened 200.
All right, so before we totally leave the COVID conversation, I have another question for Adam. I know that you do a lot of charity work overseas. Is this likely to affect your ability to go and do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's still TBD whether or not I'll be going again this summer. So I try to plan my trips when they really need me, because it's a big expense, and people, I usually, are like doing fundraising, so people can kind of be a part of it, even though they can't go there. They can raise, or they can give me money, and I can share the experience
cover
with them.
the cost. Yeah.
But it's a lot of money, and I don't want to waste their money. Going over there and not doing anything that's worthwhile. So I typically wait until there's some construction or something going on that I can participate in. So it's a little TBD to see if that's going to happen this summer, if there's a project that warrants me going over there. But that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I know that Bolivia as a whole, they have almost no cases. They're kind of landlocked, so there's not a lot of ways for it to kind of get to them, which is good.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of, I guess that's also a concern, right? So they're
right. Yeah, you going over and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're happy that there's not a lot there. So I don't know what the travel situation is, or the people going and visiting and for whatever reason, tourists or otherwise. So yeah, that's an interesting question.
One of my lead developers actually is from Bolivia, born in Bolivia.
Oh, really?
So he works with me in the office in Denver, but he's Bolivian. So he goes back there a couple times a year just for visit with family and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah,
what part of Bolivia is he from?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's
Bolivia
to say, but yeah, probably near La Paz.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, frankly, I don't know. Yeah, but
Gotcha.
yeah, no. See, he made his last trip. He was just talking about that. His last trip late last year. Luckily, he was able to get a trip in. But so he's concerned too about, like, he can't go home and see family right now.
Yeah.
How was it? Because your son went with you last time, right?
He did. He went with me. Yeah, my daughter went, I think, 3 years ago, and then Nate, my son, went last year. He absolutely loved it. He wants to go back. He wants to spend the entire summer there and just serve and however he can.
Yeah.
And he's so much more fluent in Spanish than I ever was. I took 3 years of Spanish in high school and then didn't touch it until, what was it, 6 years ago that I went to Bolivia. That was the first time I actually used it since then. So I knew.
Dude, I took 3 years too, and I remember like 10% maybe.
But it's amazing what you can get by with just a 10%. Like if you know colors, numbers, and things like like there's a couple of key verbs: want, have, and need. If you know those, then you can on a construction site. Do you need this? Do we have this?
It was tango, quiero. Necesita?
Yeah, what was it? Necesita, right? So necesito, or yeah. See, that's it. You'd be fine.
I remember when I got to my
colors,
third year,
those things, and
when I got to my third year and they started getting into all the different tenses and possessiveness, I was like,
so hard.
My brain just like, I'm like, I need. I'm done.
I'm still working on conjugation. Can you please dial it back?
Yeah. Oh. And there's slang down there, so like you think you're saying it right, but like they don't even use those words down there anymore, and so
you're doing like textbook Spanish.
The thing is, so at least their languages have like logic to it to learn. Like, can you imagine trying to learn our American?
Oh yeah,
like,
it's raining cats and dogs, and they're like, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
slang like
the
that.
idioms.
They're like typing into Google Translate. Like,
well, and
that
our,
was
like
huge
we have
down there.
Like you can explain a rule and then we break it like the next sentence. Like everything's just like out the window. It doesn't make any sense. So like I could not, like, what a mind, like I have to give props to anyone that learns our language as a second language, because it's like, holy fuck.
People don't even get it as their first language.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the words that sound
Don't
alike
go
but
to-
are completely different. There. You're like,
Yeah, right.
Year
yeah,
two.
yeah,
yeah.
Just go to
Two,
Urban
two, two,
Dictionary.
there, yeah. Yeah,
So,
just use Urban
yeah.
Dictionary. You'll be fine.
You'll be
one
okay.
of my former teammates was from Nicaragua, and she used to creep her out the expression, "Can I pick your brain?" She's like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
she said that she had to ask somebody about like what that meant, and she's like, I just envisioned a bird like taking parts of your brain away, and so now whenever I hear "pick your brain," I'm thinking of like a crow, right?
Just like the drinky bird, just like bloop,
Yeah. Yes, totally. Pick your brain. Yep. Yep. The drinky bird.
Bees. Oh,
So
shit.
Bardelli.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where's Dave Ruffalo? There he is.
He's there. What
I've been
games do you have
drinking,
though?
So I need
Sorry.
to.
I want to see a tour.
You've been drinking
Oh, yeah, we're
Crystal
waiting
Lights.
for a
That doesn't
tour.
count.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't count until it gets like to 10 plus.
So we've seen 2 games, Scott. Like, are we getting a tour tonight or what?
He walked
Well,
out.
the other one I wanted to ask was I want the
My games are kind
inside
of wrecked. I
story.
sold a bunch. I just sold a bunch of games. So my
He's turned
basement's
into a
kinda
pin
wrecked.
guy.
So Dave was telling us a story before you came on about how you had some like really rare Bronze Age game that you paid a bunch of money for, and you're just fucking giving the shit to drinkers.
I'm trying to give it to Steve. I don't think he wants it. He was not very receptive. I was like, all I gotta do is pay shipping. It's, it's 7 foot tall and 4 foot wide. It's huge.
All right,
It's a
tell us
1977 game. There's only
Okay.
3 of them that I know of. And
what's the
it's
game?
called Ramtech. Ramtech is the manufacturer. It's called Ambush M79.
Huh.
And it has these huge Gatling guns.
Okay.
Like, I can show it to you.
So is it's a black and white game
Show
or
it to
what?
us.
The black and white game. You
Why
want
not?
to see
Yeah,
it?
if you
Yeah,
can,
let's
show
see
it
it.
to us.
All right.
We spotlight this. All right, we're gonna do a Blair Witch kind of thing here.
Yeah. Ooh, I love those.
Like this.
You don't have
What do
cookies,
you mean
do
you
you?
left the
All
fucking
right,
map?
present
You're gonna want to see your
Yeah.
fridge and your kitchen.
Yeah, I want to know what beers you have in your fridge. by the
Sorry,
way.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, no, it's the cookies. I
So
want to
here
know.
it
I want to know what
is.
cookies
Yes.
he has.
See it? Okay.
Okay.
Ah,
Oh, somebody.
Adam.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you got
Use this
ambushed.
Stupid.
Yes,
been
there you go,
ambushed.
M79 ambush.
that's helpful. Then now we
Yeah.
can see what it looks like.
Guns on it, right?
That.
M69.
Nice.
dudes.
Guns.
Oh,
Thing-
wait, back to the action. All right, here we go.
All right.
All right, it's huge.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Currently working, though, I take it, right?
She lied.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Basement.
2 guns. She was telling her-
100%
she was telling the
complete.
truth.
And yeah, I had to have.
that's what they go.
The guy at the warehouse was selling it, and he
So
doesn't
Scott,
like
it's
me.
not
I
Do
currently
you have any
working, I
chocolate
take
chip
it.
cookies nearby?
I want to see
Is
your
it currently
refrigerator.
working? Is it working?
No,
No. Okay.
No.
not even close. In fact, it's
Adam, were you on for that show when we had Pac-Man?
And now it's
Oh.
way worse.
I don't think so.
Oh,
When was
yeah,
this?
no.
What'd you
'cause I
do?
think. Oh no, you
It was the
probably
walk-
weren't
the
because.
walk-
I gave it a
Pac-Man
cap
game.
kit. It had Nick Glow, so I gave it a cap kit, and now.
No,
it
you
has
probably
no
weren't because I had just moved in
No.
here and I don't think you had been
So,
on.
sorry, is
so-
it playing blind? Or
It's playing. Okay, when you turn on the juice, you hit the switch, you'll hear like that.
Oh.
That's about all you get. That's
Yeah.
I was doing all right, but then it went. What's that
Yeah.
sound effect?
No, I think that sound is part of the game. I want to
Yeah.
say, like, it seems like
It
a
sounds-
bomb going off, which is the theme
Yeah.
of the game. So that kind of works. I think the PCB works, dude. This PCB is enormous.
Oh,
Biggest
that's
thing I've
awesome.
ever seen.
All the lights in your house dim when you turn the
Yeah,
game
like
on,
the,
right?
the circuit boards back then were
Exactly.
like super cheap.
Yeah.
You could buy like the size of a
Kinda
sheet
flicker.
of plywood in a PCB
Yeah, it's the size
format.
of a sheet of plywood, like half a sheet of plywood. It is huge.
Just
Each
insane.
trace is like an eighth of an inch
It's
wide.
huge. Yeah.
You know, like
it's hardwood.
Adam
hardboards.
Adam can definitely relate to that shit, you know, but like circuit boards, the square inches, it like just multiplies tenfold the bigger the circuit board gets nowadays, right?
Yeah, I mean those older games too are just ridiculous.
It's like you have a circuit board that's twice the size, it's like 5 times the price.
Oh,
But,
right,
but
right,
I'm
right.
telling you right now, I paid $1,000 for it, and I am giving it away. You pay the shipping. You want it. All I ask is that I want to play it at least once when it's working. That's all I want to do.
There you go.
That'd be like, trading a Miss Pac-Man
up on
PCB
Claw,
for a
whatever.
Super Turbo board, because it's the Miss Pac-Man's a little bit larger. It's
Yeah,
worth
there you
more.
go.
Yeah.
So Andrew, do you need a Miss Pac-Man?
So Bardelli, have you ever played it, or was this like a blind?
I have never played
Okay.
it. I like black and white games because of Grinkers.
Yeah.
And Grinkfest. And I was like, it has the tape on the monitor for color, which I always think is cool.
Oh yeah.
It's a big 24-inch Motorola XM701.
It's a big guy.
Wow, that is a big guy.
So do you know if it's playing blind? Do you know if it's playing blind? Will it even coin up? Have you tried that?
I have tried coining up, no dice, and not getting any sounds. I'm lost with this thing because it was like one of the first games. It's like a mixture of like EM almost.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. You'd have to see it. But there's
All
only
right,
3 of them.
Scott, I don't know if you're comfortable with having this conversation. Speak up if you're not. But we started talking about the epic story of Scott Bardelli at Brofest 3 that I didn't actually physically present for it. But the whole story about you like missing out on your hotel and waking up in a strange place and all that.
Oh shit.
Oh, that wasn't Brofest. That was Fun Spot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was at Fun Spot.
Yeah.
Such
That
a
was the
Brofest
name.
3.
Brofest
Fun
was
spot,
the event.
Can you
Brofest
tell
was
it
the event.
again? I have
Brofest
heard-
3
I haven't-
/ Sneak Fest
Oh,
before
Brofest.
Sneak Fest
Brofest
1.
or Grinkfest? I'm
Brofest.
It was a Fun
Brofest.
Spot, yeah.
Fun spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you
Tell
want
it
the
again.
story?
So
Tell it.
let me just kind of start with my version of what I heard. I'll make it short. So it's basically like you were hammered, people were like a little freaked out by you, and then there was a story about you like waking up in some strange hotel room and you didn't know how you even got there. Well, I'll just leave it at that.
Go.
Go.
Yeah, so that's basically it. I
Fill in
drove
the
all the way
gaps.
up. I was I was pretty inebriated that night, and when I first rolled in to Nashua, New Hampshire, or whatever,
Nashua.
like I was on the phone driving in my car, which is dangerous, I know. But so I booked a hotel room, which I thought was the right one. It turned out to be the wrong one. I was like a mile away from where everyone else was. But it was cool. So I took my suitcase, threw it in the room, paid the lady, and went off to the arcade. So we get to the arcade. We're all having fun. We're all drinking this and that. I get invited back to go and hang out with all the cool kids.
At the Nassau Resort, right? By the beach.
Yeah, so I get invited back, and I get there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy a hotel room here. That way I don't have to drive. It seemed smart to me at the time.
Okay.
It was,
So I
yes.
get even
Very.
drunk to the point where I'm super like just really bad drunk. I couldn't communicate anymore. We're playing poker.
I've never been there before.
We're playing poker, and surprisingly, Dave from Buffalo was like, "This guy's an idiot. Get him out of here." John from John's Arcade was like,
cuts
"No,
him
he's cool,
off.
man. Bring him back." So what I did was I went and I shouldn't have been on camera, but things happen.
Yeah, right.
And then I got back in there, and all of a sudden, like it changed my whole mentality. And I could sit there and play cards with the guys and hang out. It was fun, but I was really inebriated. And so I don't remember much after that point of just having fun with the guys. And I woke up in my new hotel room, and I took a shower like I always do. And I went to put my clothes on when I noticed they were all wet. All wet. And I picked them up and sniffed them. I was like, oh, this is urine. This is not good. It dawned on me, these are the only clothes I have. I don't have any other clothes. My other clothes were put into the hotel room that's like 2 miles down the street. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I could walk out of here with a towel on. Like I didn't have that many options. My best option, as I saw it, was to put the urinated clothes back on. And I Ubered, like that Uber driver. I feel so bad for you. I'd give you a
man.
I had to Uber back over to the other hotel room to get my clothes, at which I took another shower.
That's great.
Yes.
So was this the year that Adam Sandler's niece had the big
No, it
party?
was the
No,
year
that was the year prior.
After?
That was the year.
Okay.
This was the year after that. So
Okay.
that was Brofest 2. Brofest
Okay.
3 was a much smaller.
I was gonna say I didn't think I went to 3. Did John go to 3?
He did, yes, because John
We
was
did.
the one that introduced Scott to everyone here. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. He was definitely there. Yeah.
And that was the
It
last
good
one that he
times.
went to, probably, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That
so.
was the last one he officially ran. Yes.
Okay.
So, Scott, the following Grinkfest from Brofest 3, Dave from Buffalo was coming up to me. He's like, Gak, you got to meet this guy. He's fucking crazy. He like, if they could have given him the Gak Award, he would have gotten it. Like his story is as crazy as your shit. Like, you need to meet him. And I'm like, okay,
Well, like I said, the funny thing was Dave hated me. He did
I
not
did
like
not
me
want him-
one bit when we first met.
Well,
Not at all.
I'm still waiting.
After
I'm still waiting for
you
the part of
came
the
back and
story.
You didn't say exactly what you did, but I think everyone kind of knew. You came back, you were much nicer. But remember, we were playing for tokens instead of cash. And you're like, but I gave 100 tokens. Why do I have to give money? It's like, no, tokens are the chips, and that was like a concept that was like a little bit above
didn't quite connect.
it was like it was a little
Right.
too complicated for you at your current state.
Yeah.
No, and
You have to understand. I had driven the whole way up there. I hadn't even eaten food.
Yes.
All I had done
Yeah.
was
Oh, yeah.
drive
Oh, yeah. No,
and-
Trust me,
no
Scott.
problem at all.
I've
We
had
get
a
it.
similar situations.
I was
Yes.
inebriated.
We get it. It was our
bad.
first time meeting you. We were like, oh Jesus Christ.
no,
come
and
on.
he kept
This
saying
guy's
he's
a
like
handful, man.
I
the best
know.
Tapper player ever, and I saw him play Tapper in the bar at Fun Spot, and he sucked. And then that's not even it. But
Wow,
but
Tapper prejudice. Wow, you heard
No,
it here,
I
folks.
know. I literally was like, Jacobson was like, I gotta go find him. I'm like, dude, get him the fuck out of here. Lord, get this guy back here. And then he came back, and then Scott won't say it. He had a little hit of a pot or whatever outside. He mellowed out, came back totally fine. And then the next day, I'm sitting at the bar at Fun Spot shooting shit with him. Nicest guy in the world. I mean, not that I didn't think he was nice, but he was just like drunk. And
No, you didn't,
know
Dave.
and then I'm like, this guy's awesome. And then but if it was up to me, Jacobson John went to find you, and I'm like fucking John.
Jacobson and John.
Dave, you took
Cut
out a
him
20
off.
and said, here,
Yeah.
give this to him and get him the fuck out of here. That's
Yeah. I was like, let's just give him $20. Tell him to get the fuck out of here.
All right, so there's
Full-
still a
full
question like,
disclosure,
floating in the air.
I
Scott?
basically got divorced the day that I decided to
Oh,
drive up
Jesus.
there.
Yeah. There was a lot
Yeah,
going
that's a
on
good
that we
reason to-
subsequently
Would have mentioned
learned.
that, but that
Yes.
was
That's
part
a
of
rough
it.
That's
one.
a good reason to go. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, but it doesn't explain why your clothes are covered in piss.
Yeah.
Why were you wearing piss clothes?
That is the weirdest thing, 34.
He looks like the piss
I
boy.
didn't
Yeah.
see the bed because I was wearing boxer shorts and they were bone dry. Usually that's the
Wait.
it's like, oh,
Boner
I have
dry.
So
no
Whose
idea
here's
piss was it?
here is my assessment of what happened. You threw your clothes in the corner of the room and
Right.
climbed in bed.
This is the
And
voice
then
of
you got
experience.
up and you had to
Could
take a
not find
piss
the
so
bathroom.
bad. You're
That
like,
is.
I'm going right here in the corner. Unfortunately, your clothes were all right there.
Gak
Yes.
knows. Gak knows.
Well,
Yeah,
Gak
Gak knows.
Remember the next day it was like
Arcade Impossible Greg
yeah.
wouldn't know anything about that.
So you
with me,
stacked
but,
your
you know,
clothes
Or
on
Cousin
the
Brian.
toilet, took
Peed
a
on 'em.
shower,
Yeah.
and
Or
then
Cousin
woke up
Brian,
and
yeah.
pissed all over him, and then
Yes.
went back to bed.
Cousin Brian
I-
with you, Cleo.
yes.
Yes.
Well,
I
Dave,
agree.
remember the next
I
day it was like
concur.
2 o'clock in the
I concur.
afternoon. And
I
we
mean,
were like,
piss
where the
just doesn't
fuck is
appear on your
Scott?
clothes, so there's
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, the missing piece of the puzzle there.
Yeah, Adam.
Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Did I scare off Adam?
So the
Because I
urine-
actually
No,
thought
no,
that.
he's in the
Oh,
tree.
Poppy!
And it has
Oh.
nothing to do
We
with
were just
Sophie.
talking about that. Oh, it's so good. I need to find that.
Oh.
It
That was
never
the one
ends.
where I
I
think
could have like 10,000 sound clips, and
Yeah.
then there's always like, oh, I need that one too.
Yeah. Your screen must be just like filled with all these little buttons, right? I
Oh,
mean-
you have no idea, Adam.
It's like 15 screens.
It's exponentially grown since you remember the
Right.
days when we're like, oh, like Google Hangouts has
crickets,
right?
the
Little
drums,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and applause, and
Right.
yeah, it was like there's like 6, and now it's like,
My biggest memory with Adam
yeah,
on the hangout was
the
the
Brad,
mouth.
the orange
with
way
the
of
mouth.
mouth,
Oh,
yeah.
God, I was fucking dying.
That's classic. It's so
Oh,
good.
my God.
Orange Whip, I love you, but that was some hilarious shit.
That was
God, you gotta
funny as
enjoy that.
hell.
Funny.
So, Scott.
Those were the days. So you remember our very early Christmas
Early,
shows and
yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
4 or 5 hour. Like God, we had so much
Memories.
fun. so many sick days I used for Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So
Pardelli, you're
be-
muted
pri-
if
and
you
that was
wanna talk.
before. That was way before Never Twos and Drink Aids and
Yeah.
So,
Back when we had
Scott-
to man it up.
Yeah, tell the story of the first mancation that you went to in your trip across the border.
Oh boy, is this another pee story?
Oh,
No.
man,
If so, I need to gird my
It's a much
loins.
smaller story. Much, yeah.
Hey,
Well,
yeah,
it's-
number
it's
13,
quick.
by the way.
I was arrested
Cheers.
once going into
Cheers.
Canada. It didn't work out well when I was like 22. I actually had a DUI in college. I thought it was ancient history. Had a job, had to go into Canada. So I drove all the way up there and they didn't let me in. They're like, well, you had a DUI 4 years
We're
ago.
pricks like that.
5
Sorry.
years. And I was like, oh, crikey. So I went to another gas station on my way back, and the guy was like, dude, just go to another entry point. It's simple. You'll get in. I was like, oh, good idea. So I went there. I got arrested for lying to a Canadian official about not having tried to enter the border before.
Again,
So
solid advice
years
from a gas
later,
station
I went to
attendant.
first
yeah.
Seabart
vacation
laughing.
with Dave. I mean, this is when I was 22.
I knew it
I'm
was
now
coming.
35.
Yeah.
Or 38, honestly.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, that shit has to be ancient history. My record's been expunged. Like, everything's good. I have no criminal record whatsoever at this point. So my roommate wanted to go over into Canada to play some sports bets. And I was like, oh, sounds like a great idea. I was like, let's go. So me and my roommate, who is actually on probation.
Oh,
All right, you're
walked
doubling
over
down
the
here.
border. And first they detained me and then him, and we're sitting there for hours in this Canadian little booth, you know, trying
Yeah,
to
we do that.
on. The guy calls me up and he goes, have you ever gone to Canada before? I was like, that's an interesting question. I don't know how to answer that. Yes and no. Like,
Yeah.
I was there once for court, but that was like 20 years ago. And he's like, I'm glad you said that because you are not ever allowed in Canada, like ever. Like, don't come back.
oh.
Like, we're gonna let you go back to the States. We won't arrest you, even though we could. I was like, thank you. I was like, really about that DUI, that lying thing? He's like, yeah.
Wow.
Prime Minister.
Okay,
lie
so
once.
I was like, you will
that's
And-
your issue isn't the DUI, it's the lying to a border crossing agent. That's
and
what
Seabart
up
helped
the
me
ass,
out yeah, we talked about this on the chat.
Wait,
yeah,
what was
so it was just
as soon as you lie to
things.
CBSA, it's you're fucking.
I've been to
ass. You're dead.
Australia,
You're
I've been to
done.
the UK, I've been here, I've
You have
been
to get
there
a
since,
pardon
you know,
from the government.
recently.
It's a Canadian
no
thing.
Yeah.
Canada for
Oh.
Scotty. I'm not allowed in Canada.
No, they
You're
were
not
gone
allowed
forever.
in.
I'm like texting. I'm like, where the fuck are you guys? He's
You're
like,
like
having a little
86
problem with
He
the
feet
sat
Canada.
there for hours. And poor Shawnee, he was even worse. I was like,
Yeah.
so when I'm leaving, I'm like, so I can go back to USA, right? And he was like, yes. I was like,
So get the
"Think my
fuck out.
buddy's gonna get into Canada, and he started laughing out loud. He's like, your buddy's in worse trouble than you are. I was like, okay.
Into
They
jail
were
for
even
breach of
letting him back into
probation.
the States. I was like, oh my
These
god,
guys
this
are
is
like,
like,
hey, we're
no
going
man's land.
Canada. I'm
Can't
like,
go to Canada. You shouldn't have left the United States. Like, what's gonna happen to this poor
I
guy?
just wanted to place a bet.
I know he just wants to
would have been out of Sackers, man.
Jeez, man, they're having a good season.
If you're on probation, you're probably not allowed to leave.
Sports.
But it was still fun,
Sports.
you know. I mean, it's all just
Sports.
funny stories, right?
Hashtag
You know,
sports.
That's what life is.
You know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now you could bet at the casino because they have the sports betting. You guys wouldn't even have to walk across.
I know we didn't have to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've been on
Honestly,
the
honestly,
McGregor.
Dave, I wasn't going for the sports betting. I was going because you hyped it up at the strip clubs in Canada. They're like
Oh yeah, the
primo
lick it and
strip
stick it.
clubs. I was like, oh.
No, you can't do that up here.
The
Oh, I
loony.
can't. Oh,
We're gonna
sorry.
mute you.
I mean, other things. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not
Music
not
stores.
inside.
The
You're not
music
allowed.
stores
You're
are
not allowed smoking
fantastic.
inside. You're not allowed smoking.
So
inside.
anywho,
Sorry.
So I only believe like, maybe 30% of my dad's story because there has to be more to that shit. So my parents never got married. Whatever. So when my mother was pregnant,
Everybody was thinking it.
well,
wasn't
yeah,
thinking that.
and I'm the fucking result of this shit. Anyway, so
That explains a lot.
So when my older brother, my mother was pregnant with my older brother. This is like 1968, early 69. 69 dudes. My dad was, I wouldn't call him a hippie, but he was kind of, I don't know, whatever, that era. So he's like, this is like his last chance to go on a long motorcycle. He was a big motorcycle guy. So he's like, I'm going on a road trip. Like he wanted to go on this big, massive road trip before having to like quote unquote settle down, right? So he went from California all the way to all the way to New York, and then up to Canada, and then he was planning on going back through Canada and then back down the West Coast. When he got into Canada, I guess apparently he had like a buck knife or something. It was like over the limit of what's legal in Canada. Like 4 inches or 6 inches, something like that is what's acceptable. But his was larger than that. So he got arrested and put in jail, and he had to get a lawyer. He was stuck in jail for like a week, apparently, over his fucking knife that he had on himself in his motorcycle.
If he declared it, he would have been okay.
So yeah, I have no idea. That's the story he told me, anyways. And so Canada can be very strict, I guess, as I get what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just crossing the border with like weapons. Like there was a guy I work with, and he went hunting and he got fucked up, and he ended up going into Canada not intentionally. Like he was like, oh fuck.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Wait.
How do you go to Canada not intentionally? I can't be the only one.
No, because you're on the throughway and you're thinking you're going the one way. All of a sudden you go the wrong way and you're going over the border.
Like you go north instead of south.
Yes,
Okay.
and you can't turn around. And
Right.
then he had the gun and whatever. I mean, he was all right, but he got tons of shit for it. He's like, because I just was coming from a hunting trip and I'm whatever on the phone, not paying attention, and all of a sudden you make the wrong turn and you're going over the border. It's different, at least here, because it's the same throughway. You fuck up and then you can't turn around and you're going over the border.
That's one way to do it.
It happens. I'm gonna have another beer.
Canada happens.
Yeah.
Canada.
All of a sudden,
You
Canada.
had trouble taking apples across the border there.
So my dragon.
California's like that, but
Yeah, California's.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
that's right. We
Hey,
have the-
I can't
remember
bring
getting
oranges
berated by
into the
California Border
States.
Patrol.
Oh yeah, we got the bug inspection station.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
Oh,
okay,
right,
do you have
the
any-
border, the last
Back
year
in like
blinkers.
'93, like crossing the border, getting like fucking the rundown by like the Canadian or like the Californian people, like just being like,
Yep.
"You got any fruit?" I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah,
Like,
they're looking.
do
Can
we need to
see-
look? And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. Can you open your trunk? Yeah, get the mirrors out like they
check
do
you
in
your
the
have
fucking
to?
car.
Mexico
Just some
border.
drugs,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm it's like 1992, and I'm driving like a '76 Chrysler. It's like
Oh, nice.
with Colorado plates.
yeah. That's suspicious.
Hey,
Yeah.
bring your wife on.
Yeah.
Bring her on. Dave.
I'm importing fucking
Julie.
cones from Colorado. Like,
Come on,
Yeah,
Julie.
yeah.
Julie.
Oh, he can't hear us. He doesn't
Ah, shit.
have his buds on.
Yeah. No, it's still that way.
yeah. No, I remember the last time I drove there from Colorado, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. I'm not bringing anything." And they're like, "All right, go."
Yeah.
Just make sure you're doing 90 by you hit the bottom of the hill, because like if you're not doing 90 by the time you hit Sacramento, you're in trouble. No, I remember that, like driving back to California on the 80, like doing that long ass fucking. It's like a 20-hour drive.
Yeah.
Heading back to my, see my buddy Dave in Monterey, and like, like it's a long drive. I took a quick little nap outside of Reno, and like I descend out of the Sierras, and I'm like coming into Sacramento. I can see it in the distance, kind of thing. And it's like, all right, yeah, I know what it's like. And here we go. And I'm tired, long drive, and all of a sudden, like I'm doing like, I don't know, 75, 80, and cars just go fucking whipping past me on the left, whipping past me on the right. I'm like,
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here? And it's like, I don't know, 7, 8 in the morning. And it's like, what the shit? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm in California again. Dropped it down, like hit 90. And it's like, all right, now I'm cruising with traffic. It's like, oh yeah, California.
Yeah. Yep.
Friends with the urinator, aren't you?
It's like you have to do 90.
That's it right there.
Nice. Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
It's not like a 45-minute delay.
Kim is
on that
getting
one.
very.
I
Kim
can
is
totally
very
tell because
quiet.
you were
This
muted
isn't
for like
good.
5 minutes and you're just like, where is it?
I know, yeah,
Where's
yeah.
like,
It was a curious
YouTube,
quiet
yeah.
time from Jim.
Yeah.
But yes, that's our state motto. California, we're in a hurry.
In a hurry, yeah.
Yeah.
Until we're not. And then you're
So
stuck there
Jimbo,
for
I don't
3
know if you're
hours.
ready with this, but Adam, I didn't know if you're aware of this, but boys have a.
Oh, that one.
What's this?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Here we go.
Oh,
Boys
Jesus.
have a vagina. Girls have a penis.
That's the old reverser.
We modified it.
All of, what, 2 minutes? 2 minutes, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, the original.
Holy God,
is-
Adam! Like
A few weeks ago.
been since
got
2016 that we've seen you on here.
I
bro.
know.
I know.
Come
Yeah,
on.
it's crazy.
That's
Like,
crazy.
that's-
I mean, and I've sent. I mean, how many times have I've sent to Adam like
I thought
Clav
for
or
sure that
Facebook
you were
message-
just going to give up. I was like, I felt so bad.
Oh.
Now you know how he won my heart.
We never give up.
all it takes is a couple drinks, and I'm like, I miss Adam, and then it's like, I'm gonna fuck Clav. I'm gonna Facebook message him. We're friends on there, yeah. And then I can see when he sees my message.
Right. You're ignoring me, you prick.
Yeah, you son of a- It takes 2 seconds to say
I
no.
know. Yeah.
He was being polite.
I mean, unlike email, Adam has received an email every week,
Yes.
every
I have,
single
yes.
week.
Yeah, but
we started
but
this
it
shit.
takes a
But
little
see-
cup to push him.
So that's like
I know.
200
I'm just saying,
times
he's
he
been
ignored
invited
your
every single
email.
week. for-
Tuesdays are brutal. To be honest, the big incentive is the fact that it's on a Saturday, right? So
Yeah.
I can sleep in all I want. But
Yeah.
like Jim mentioned, it's like come
Yeah.
Wednesday morning, man. And you guys are well, I don't know what time it is, but it's it's what
West
it's,
Coast.
11
way
when we
easier, but I
start.
still
It's
can't.
11 for you
so
guys.
it's already 1 in the morning here. So
Ugh,
Yeah, we don't do
Ah,
the
that's-
5 a.m. ones that we used to do back
Right.
in the day.
No.
Or-
No, we've
finally
grown up.
learned.
And that's 5 Eastern. That
Yeah.
we go to.
The
Oh my
the
God,
best thing
yeah.
Adam could say to Andrew is Andrew's I send you an email every week would be like, oh, that's not my email anymore.
Yeah.
I changed that back in 2016. You didn't know?
No, it's his AOL address. It's still good.
Yeah, AOL.
It dies with the CD.
yeah.
The floppy.
yeah.
It died with the 36K modem.
Yeah. So
Hey Adam, do you still have the Akari Warriors 666?
It's right around the door here. Yes.
Oh, the machine.
You're not interested in the trade for anything that I have, are you?
I love that thing. I want to do eventually. I'm building a workshop kind of off to the side here. That's one of the projects I've been working on, and
sweet.
once that's all set, that'll probably be the first game that I'll work on. I want to just redo the entire cabinet because the bottom's completely blown out, but I absolutely love that game.
Oh man,
Are you
I
still
thought it
doing
was-
YouTube
I have a
videos?
theory about
I haven't
that
done a
game.
YouTube video in forever.
I thought
My
that
theory
machine
is
was in
that-
hella good shape.
Hella good. Yeah.
Oh.
Nice. I see what you did.
But dude,
Yeah. see, if I don't I don't need to worry about playing a sound because if I don't, someone was just gonna
Somebody else-
fill it in.
But yeah,
I
I
have
know.
too many.
I love rotary games. I always had a love for rotary games ever since I
Yeah.
was a kid. I love the mechanics of it. And
I have an
everything.
Akari
Yeah,
Warriors in a centipede, but it has the sticks, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
And it's JAMA, so I have some of the other ones too. But
Yeah.
yours in particular, I have a theory that you can break the world record score on your game. I've never seen another Akari Warriors with the swastikas on the
Oh,
tanks.
really?
No, nobody else has that. So what I think happened, here's what I think happened. When they put that game out, because yours is such a low serial number, right? 666.
Right.
They did like a thing and they were like, wait a minute, like people can like sit there and play for hours without having to move forward. And so they modified a few things, right? And they took out the swastikas and they made it so that bombs come raining down on you all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
You'll move forward.
Right.
Does your game do that?
I don't know. I've not let it sit idle long enough to know. I know the NES version
That's my
did
theory
that.
about the Twin Galaxies World Record is that your PCB is different than everyone else's.
I see.
Because yours has the swastikas. I've never seen that.
Right.
Telling
Well,
you.
I've seen them. I don't know. Was there videos on YouTube of people with that ROM set? I mean, or is that ROM
Could be a
set
ROM
out
set,
and about?
yeah.
Like people can play it in MAME or no?
I don't know. I don't know because I've never found another one and I've been
Okay.
trying, but that's my theory because the world record, okay, when you beat the game, you get 1,000,000 points, right?
Okay.
Now the world record is like 1.79 million, but anyone else that has a game, even if they beat the game, can get like 1.4.
Mm,
That leaves a lot of room, right?
yeah.
So how did that dude get that? And I think it's because they didn't have the bombs crashing on you, so you could point press.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
theory.
It could be, but like, yeah, ROM revisions missing from world records is actually a big problem because like there's definitely big ROM revision stuff.
Yeah, I
Right.
that's what I think.
I mean,
It's-
Yeah, I've seen that for like, again, Forgotten Worlds, just not to talk about the game that I know, but like, yeah, there's like 4 different revisions out there for that game. And there's definitely big differences in
like
how they play.
This game, like people really know pole position. There's
Yeah.
like weird little intricacies to every different. There's like all these different ROM sets and stuff.
Yeah.
So when in the database when the record is entered in or whatever, it doesn't have a place to put the ROM revisions.
Well, oftentimes no. There's an expectation, I think, with some games where they have like the ROM revision where it's
especially
like
MAME.
Yeah, for sure. But like, because MAME actually has them, so they can actually talk about them. But yeah, I mean, so I don't know if like Clint, for example, like if he were doing our record keeping on games at a tournament, I don't know if Clint knows which ROM revision or tests for each of the tournament games to find out which ROM revision we're running.
Right.
To find out if it's valid. But yeah, for sure. Like Scott, you're 100% right that like different ROM revisions should have different scoreboards.
I've never seen one with swastikas. And Adam, just do me a favor. Send me a message on Club or whatever. Like just turn your game on and have the guy move a little bit and then leave it sit and tell me if bombs
go make a sandwich or something.
Nice. Make some masks,
Yeah.
Boy, I'm lucky that that like Eyes and Cheyenne don't have too many ROM revisions that at least that I'm aware of.
But so do you have the record
of Eyes? Record holder on Cheyenne as well?
I actually whenever we have a Grinkers again, I actually want to go for it. Because I could claim the arcade record pretty easily.
But you definitely have Eyes.
Oh yeah, I've got Eyes. Yeah.
Those that I've seen. Yeah.
I actually had some comment on one of my YouTube videos for Eyes real recently, asking like, I can't recreate your pattern. I'm doing everything that you're doing, and I just don't. And I'm like, well, you could always just make up your own pattern. What?
Ideally, yeah, my pattern's not perfect. I think you've talked about that before, like on your streams, where it's like, this is just a pattern that works for me.
Well, and then
you can 100% make it around.
Yeah, and then
change it, right? I've changed it a few times.
Well,
yeah, yours evolved.
I've revised them, but he so like I went back and forth, and eventually, he was like, well, I can't make the top center I go left like you do. It always goes right. And I'm like, well, you can mirror what I'm doing. He's like, oh, maybe I'll try that. And then finally I got out of him that he's using a micro switch joystick. I'm like, that could be your problem right there, because there's no way in fucking hell I would ever play this game with a micro switch joystick. Yeah, but a micro switch, the problem with micro switch joysticks is that they're all or none. It's a switch. And you can't tailor it to your reactions. It's either on or it's off. Whereas with a leaf switch, you can bend those leaves and you can make them okay. I want to be able to move the joystick only halfways before it triggers,
right?
And so you can tailor it to your reaction speed. And that's why so many of these people with these like Nibbler, any of these pattern-based games, you're not going to find anyone that's going for a record that's going to play on a micro switch. There's just no way. Now, the flip side to that is if you look at fighting games, everyone swears by micro switches. So they're apples and oranges. But with pattern-based games and
do you think that's the
games,
feel of like doing like fireball or doing an uppercut or doing something that's like just feeling that little click in the joystick?
I think that's part of it.
Understand kind of where the joystick's at.
Yes and no, because some of the micro switches now that you can buy like from Paradise and stuff for your fight sticks have silent or near silent operation.
So you don't even
feel it's not necessarily and a lot if you look at a lot of gamers that are playing tournament stuff, they'll put headphones on so they can hear the game sounds.
Right.
Because for me especially, I hate playing in tournaments where it's in a loud environment because for that reason, because I go by audio cues. But yeah, so they have micro switches now that are near silent or close. So there is that, but I think it's more.
But they still don't feel like
it's
a
feel
leaf switch.
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's more of a feel than a sound.
Right. But it's also tweaking like the distance where the throw is, right? It's like on the leaf switch, like
on the leaf switch.
You can tweak out that
yeah.
you know,
So with eyes, I have mine I want to say it's about midway. Like, so you don't push the stick all the way to the end. Now, so that's just for directions, but on the fire buttons, which are also leaf buttons,
you got those,
I like it about 2/3 because I can get this, it's almost like a trampoline where you kind of like, you can kind of just play off of it and you can get a better double hit press. So like you can only have 3 shots on the screen at the same time. So you can only fire 3 shots can only be visible on the screen at one time. So you have to keep that in mind. And so like if there's a bunch of eyes like grouped up together and you want to do it like a double press, you have to be able to do that quick. You can't, it's tough to do with a micro switch, but you can kind of spring off of a leaf button.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's not quite analog versus digital, but kind of.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I'm sure there are people that are really good with like that can play eyes. Like obviously people can play it on MAME, but man, going from MAME to a cabinet is night and day difference. That's why the MAME the MAME record right now is like maybe 4 million, because it is, you go from one to the other, and like playing on MAME is like playing underwater. It's like, it's so different. But anyhow,
Jim, for a non-leaf game, how do you stand on Arkanoid? Where do you stand for the world record on that?
Oh, I've kind of given up. Like the Orcade world record is 1.6. I've got 1.5 something million. But the problem with Arkanoid that I've kind of given up on going for a world record because it's so circumstantial. It's so random. I can beat the game. Like so the world record's 1 point on Orcade. I don't go off of Twin Galaxies because they have different dip switches and shit. But on Orcade it's 1.6 and that's default settings. But that game there's a big random factor there. It's not just skill, it's a random factor. My 1.5 million point game, my best game, I didn't even beat the game. I've beat the game 3 or 4 times, and actually I recorded it. It's on a live stream, but I'm not even clearing. I think the lowest score I ever had beating it was like 700,000 or 800,000. So not even half what the world record is. You have to point press, but the point pressing in that game is heavily reliant on one particular stage 5, right? And you have to trap the ball on at the top, and you're hitting enemies, and if you get a certain power up, the white end capsule, I think it stands for new generate or something like that, new divert or something like that, and it splits into 3, and as long as you have one ball on the screen, you can let the other 2 die. It'll continually split into 3, so you'll have 3 balls all the time on the screen as long as you can keep one in action. And it sounds simple, but it's real easy for all 3 dolls to drop below your Voss below your paddle. So so as long as you keep those 3 going, they'll get faster and faster, and these enemies that don't die are trapped up at the top, and you get 100 points for each time the ball hits one of those enemies. So you have 3 of them going.
They die, but they respawn.
Yeah, they drop.
Yeah,
they don't explode, but they'll drop down the sides, but they'll respawn. And so you have these 3 balls hitting these enemies, and your score just goes. I tried to show Andrew a little bit when we were at Grinkers.
Yeah,
he saw a little bit of it.
Yeah,
your score just goes boom. If you can keep that going, and it's only happened to me once where you get a flashing capsule, which is a wild card capsule. It could be bad, it could be good. You don't know what it's going to be. But if you get the right one, it'll instead of just 3, it'll split into 8 and just go boom boom and keep going to 8. So you can get 1 million points on that one stage real easily. And so it's not so much skill as it is luck of
do you
the
get
capsule.
that power up? Yeah.
Do you get that power up on that stage?
Yeah.
Because
there's only so many blocks you can hit to get power ups in that stage. It's really limited.
Yes. Yep.
How many power ups you can get?
There's 2 per column, and I want to say there's like 6 or 7 columns.
6 or 8 columns, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. and so it's so like Grinkers, when we had Arkanoid in there, and you had there were a couple of the pro tournament guys. I was real curious, and it was confirmed, and it put a sour taste in my mouth because I walked up and I don't know if it was John McAllister or who was playing, and he didn't get that power up on that stage, and so he just walked away from the game. Like, you fucker. Come on, you pansy. Like, just play the game, play through the game. You can still get a big ass score. It's not like you're going for a world record here. I mean, and so I was pissed off at that. Like, I was so like, Clint watched me. I almost beat the game twice. I got like 900,000 or whatever. But like, you can still get a big score. The other, like, I've been meaning to do videos on this, but there are many different approaches to that game if you want a big score, and if you just want to eliminate that whole, like, take that fifth stage out of the equation as far as a big game goes, collect every capsule. If you're just going for lots of points, if you have some skill to the game as far as like just handling, just bouncing the ball off your paddle and stuff,
just ball
and keeping
handling.
Ball handling, keeping it alive, collect every the big things are collect every capsule. Every capsule gives you 1,000 points, regardless of what it is. And on the early stages, especially, there's shit tons of capsules. They give you a lot, and you can clear all the stages, the first like 3 or 4 stages, real easily because you get so many power-ups. And so just collect every capsule. You're going to get 1,000 points for every one of those. And if you are really elite, in certain circumstances, get the shitty capsule, which is the little tiny R reduction. It's a little black capsule, because when you get that capsule, your paddle does shrink. Yeah, it shrinks to half the size, but you get twice as many points for everything that you do.
What's the opposite of Viagra?
Yeah, exactly.
Shrink it. Right. It's another sign.
The red pill. You take the blue pill.
Yeah. You get the little weenie, but if you do a good job with the little weenie, it turns out.
And knowing when to
matters
get
either way.
a certain capsule. So like, one thing I'll do is if I get a one of the flashing capsules, which is like the wild card, it's basically a power up on steroids. It can be. If you get that, and say you're on a stage where there's a lot of enemies on there, and you get one that splits into like a dozen or 20 different balls, get the reduction capsule right after that, because you got all that stuff going on the screen, and then you're getting twice as many points.
Bonus points, yeah.
So things like that. So you can totally get a big point game. It doesn't all rely on that fifth stage, but for a world record, you have to have a big killer fifth stage, and that's why I'm like, fuck this. Like, I
know I've talked to you about this before, Jim, but like Exidy talked to me about that too, where he was like, oh yeah, like Revenge of Doe, there's that one stage where you just do this one thing and you just get the big scores.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that it's so random. Thing, I would say like it's now there is skill to getting
100%. Yeah,
that capsule maybe, like, I feel like it's random, but for me I feel like it maybe drops like 30% of the time, maybe. But then you have to be able to get that capsule and then
utilize it
and utilize it before you clear the bricks, because like, I can't tell you how many times that I've got that the ball splits into 3 and then
your last brick,
the last brick, and you're fucked.
Yep,
that's it.
So it's all about like the timing, but like the thing is like, I get it. What you're saying is like, it's not fun really going for a high score, because like, there's this one trick. And it's how long you can keep that trick alive.
I feel I feel way better, honestly. Like,
it's not a skill thing; it's a luck thing.
Yeah. And that's why, honestly,
it's like 50% skill to get there and hold it, but then the rest of it's just luck.
Yeah. You don't even need to complete the game. Like, I feel way more accomplished when I beat the game without, and I have continuous disabled. So when I can beat that game without having to continue, like, that to me is more of an accomplishment than a big score.
Yeah. So, that would be a fun, I mean, it would probably be impossible to try to figure out how to do it, Grinkers, but to do a tournament that way, where rather than score, it's how many levels you beat on these things. Because there's a lot of, you see a lot of people point pressing. And it's like, if you could, running these things like, okay, really, how far can you go in this game?
That would be a great tournament.
Games that would
and the
work
nice thing
for.
about nice thing about Arkanoid is that if you make the leaderboard, it shows what level you got to, how many levels you completed.
I like that about Tato games. Tato games are one of the few games.
Yeah, actually, Toki does the same thing.
Level. Yeah, so Rastan does the same thing.
Yeah.
So Rastan shows a level, and if you finish all of them, it says all.
Be the level.
You know if you actually finish the game.
Oh, I need to check Arkanoid again.
That's
Although, you know, the funny thing is, I don't know if I made the leaderboard when I beat Arkanoid because I had these big scores. Because Arkanoid only does the top 5. I don't know what Rastan does, but yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
6 scores, I think. It's 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Once you beat the game, does it start over again? You can just keep racking up points, or does
No,
that's it?
no,
Whatever?
that's
Game
it.
over.
It does it has a big interlude thing. Toki's not technically Taito, it's FabTech, but I want to say like Taito's a partner or something of it or something like that. Yeah, Toki has a hard ending too. I want to go back to Toki because now that I beat it, I want to see if I can one credit it. That's going to be a whole nother feat. But yeah,
dude, you've totally got it in you.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
having beaten it on infinite credits, like, dude, it's totally beatable. Like once you figure out those especially that last fucking stage, all the cheap shit that they throw at you.
I want to say
but you can learn the cheap shit and just figure it out and just play that game.
Now that the boss, I still like.
It's
the boss. It's doable for sure.
It's like one of those things where it's like, you're a bitch. You're fucking cheating. The game is cheating. I get it, but once you figure out how it's cheating, you could do it.
Yeah.
If you want to go for that, you could totally do it.
I did a live stream, Gino, and I beat it.
I saw. But where do you stand world record wise?
Oh fuck! I don't even know what the record is on that.
Yeah.
Well,
he's probably number one.
There are people are better. Yeah, I'm
Totally.
I'm sure there's people that are better.
Number 1 on the Arcade Hangout record.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that owns
the longest running
Number
arcade
1.
Right.
podcast.
That's
On
right.
YouTube
Pretty sure
with
he's got world
girls.
records.
Blah, blah.
No.
And
Once
that's-
it's done.
that-
I mean, that's definitely one that just feels like it should be about beating the game and the levels. Then who cares how many points you get, really, right? Like it just.
That's issue though.
That's tough because Rastan's
my counter to that, which is like you have to point press, because if you just jam through the game, like I've done live on this show, if you just jam through the game, it's about 750,000 points. But my best that I've bothered to keep track of, where is it at? Rastan. It's like 1.21
gigawatts.
21 gigawatts. What the fuck is Rastan up there? I can't believe I can't
Got that
find
shit
it.
written on the ceiling?
Better
or
get-
what?
That's right.
Right? That's what it looks like.
You guys, dude, no, it's on the whiteboard in front of you.
I remember the white.
Gak, you have
Yeah, I
scores
remember
of yours.
I
up on
know,
this
but it
whiteboard.
looks like it's on the ceiling.
but
Yeah,
it's
I know, yeah.
You drew a big penis on here. No.
Yeah.
So Rastan, the last one that I bothered to keep track of was 1,171,000.
I have no idea how to point press on Toki because there's a finite amount of enemies on the screen at any given time.
But you got to figure out, like, if you die, how do you deal with your lives? It's the same with Rastan. So the game has an ending. So where do you die to then get the best amount of points you can earn for each life?
I see.
So you
because
kill the
enemies
last.
will-
Interesting.
Yes, so you kill the last guy with your last life to get the most points. So you replay certain areas. So you
I
press
see.
Yeah.
and then kill yourself off. And
That
then,
is very interesting.
yep.
Yeah.
So
You've spent a lot of time with that game. Wow.
Yes, I
Figure
have.
that shit out.
He
Holy
sleeps with
cow.
it. He's got a Rastan pillow.
Yeah.
He's got the bed
12
sheets
boards.
Yeah, 12 boy. Yeah.
that he sleeps with
kidding.
every night. No,
yeah, just wrapped around me.
actually, it's funny because every time a Rastan board pops up
Like
for
that
sale,
Jason
I'm like,
Bob
I
picture
got-
where he's laying there on Facebook where he's covered in all the boards.
If you have a working Rastan board for less than $100, I'm going to buy it.
No.
I swear.
You have a
gonna
Rastan
happen.
problem.
I do have a Rastan problem. I don't know
Andrew,
What's the
Andrew, I
awful remake?
I want you
That's the one.
to do like your entire arcade is put Rastan boards in every cabinet and just do like a 5-minute video of that, and then that'll be your background, and then you can remove them all. Yeah. Every cabinet is Rastan.
I might need some help. Can we get the pins to play Rastan?
Yes. Swap the back
Rastan
glasses
pin.
out for
Yeah.
LCD screens. to
Speaking
put
of
it on
pins, I'll do my quick
Oh
update
yeah,
here.
no, beautiful
It's
segue.
already-
Let's
real quick, so
get
I'm
the fuck
just
done with
gonna-
Rastan and
Yeah.
go on to pins.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it a night. Nice talking to y'all.
Yeah, Leo's
All right,
like, you're
Leo.
talking pins. I'm fucking out of here.
Get the
Hi, Leo.
Good seeing you, Leo.
Thank you very
Nice.
much.
He's like,
Pinball.
it's 1:30 pins.
Later
Yeah.
night.
See you,
All right,
Leo.
take care, Leo. We'll see you.
I'm done with Wonka. Wonka is done. That's why it's all clean behind me. I spent all day
So
clean.
how
that's
many weeks
right.
ago did you actually receive the pinball machine?
I received it on here. I can tell you right now. Let me look at my calendar. March 21st. No,
it's been
March 20th.
Wow.
20th, Friday the 20th.
So just a little over a month and a half.
Yeah,
No,
and
it
for
was
all
the
that you've
21st.
done on it, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what's the final account of mods you added to it?
Good question.
The total tally. So I purchased 20 or 21 mods for it, and this was before I had it, and I ended up installing 15. I nixed 5. They just based on and I strategically went in a certain order of installing the mods for that reason, because I knew that there were some that were vital, some that I knew that I absolutely had to install, and then there were ones that were kind of they were based upon what it would look like after I installed the other mods. So it took me a while to get to that point. But yeah, so I have no regrets. It's fucking awesome. I played a few games earlier, and it's a night and day difference. It really enhances the experience. So today I recorded my last little like outro, and the night before last night I did gameplay videos, or I did 2 gameplays. It wasn't a gameplay, it was just to show the mods interacting with each other. And so I played 2 games, but it took me several hours because it took the setup was a long time, because I had to mount a camera on my jib above the play field at the right angle to get the whole thing, and to minimize glare. It was a pain in the ass. But yeah, so that's all done today. After I recorded my last shot, I was cleaning up the whole fucking place. Tomorrow I want to finally set up my power tower, but I think I'm gonna try to do my mold of that one 3D printed part tomorrow as well, and that'll be a separate video. I've decided that's going to be its own thing. So I want to do that tomorrow, and then Monday I'm going to start editing, and it's going to be a long process. I just looked at I transferred the last of the footage, and I have about 620 gigabytes of footage.
Oh, holy shit!
To edit. And it's probably going to be 3. I'm shooting for 3 videos, hopefully 30 to 40 minutes in length, and then the video of doing the mold of the 3D part, and hopefully that turns out. But yeah, it's because it's 2 cameras. I shot with 2 cameras, and everything that normally would have taken me 20 to 30 minutes because of the video and setting up lights and doing the production and everything in 2 cameras took at least 4 to 5 times that. So, Andrew, is that drinking?
He's breaking it out. Yeah.
Smartest move.
From my perspective, I'm pointing this way, and it's right at him.
I'm feeling like it's that kind of night. I need to take one of these down.
I appreciate
I'm feeling
that.
like it's one of those nights too. I'll go ahead and hydrate.
Oh,
Give me some of that Richard Simmons ball sweat.
Speaking of that, I was telling Carrie this last night.
Tastes
I went
just
to go
like
pick up.
Sweatus.
Oh,
Andrew,
this is like a salad from Canada.
Andrew, last night I went to go pick up my Buffalo Wild Wings order, and there's a GNC that's right next to it in a strip mall, and so I drive up there, and there's all these signs: GNC, big sales, flash sale, blah 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 going on. And obviously it's after any store would be closed. Yeah. And so they have all these sale signs, like everything's on sale. And and yes, we're open, big sign. And obviously they're closed then. But I picked up my wings, and I'm driving away, and I'm started thinking, I wonder if they have a sale going on with their Never Too Hungovers. If it's
And-
like 50% off, holy
Yeah.
fuck. Yeah.
Bonus.
So I might have to check that out. Yeah, because I'm down to about 4 in my fridge. I just checked.
I got 5. So I don't mean to orange whip you there, but I do have 5.
Yep. Yeah.
I haven't had
Oh,
any since
Kevin.
Breakfast.
Kevin, get in here. I'm going to call him Kevin from now on. I'm going to call Brad. Ah!
Actual 5. I mean, it wasn't just bullshitting. That wasn't just a total whip.
But
I
the
wonder what
question
happened if
really is: are they red or brick or brown?
It's brown.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
It's brown.
Burgundy.
Yeah.
This is brown.
Now,
this
now,
is
now,
brown
the
paint.
other question is, I want to know.
that is
I
still a
want to know.
joke.
I want to know. We've all pushed it to. We need to take 2. Like we've pushed
Yeah.
it to that limit.
Yeah.
Is there a point of no return where there's no what's the thing? Revenue, or what's a return? What's the phrase?
ROI.
ROI.
Return on investment.
Return on investment.
Thank you. Is there a point? So say you get your, I mean, like it,
3?
like your black, like is a third gonna do better than just 2,
Yeah.
or are
Yeah.
you just fucked beyond like there's no repair for this?
Or yeah.
Yeah.
3.
reasonable
There's not
question.
enough moisture in that 3 to save you from the dehydration hangover you're going
Right.
to get.
You have to drink some water and
Yeah.
stuff, but like
There's not
I
enough
mean,
water in that. If you don't drink in water, you're
yeah. I mean that's just it's an
Amateur.
electrolyte.
yeah.
It's an electrolyte vitamin complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Concoction.
mean,
That's why I prefer to drink Brondo beer.
which is basically water.
yeah.
Already,
Gak's
right?
hydrating
it's
and
got
He
electrolytes.
is.
That's right.
Brondo beer.
what plants crave.
Oh, you beat me to
Yes.
it. It's
Ah!
crave.
Electrolytes because you get light.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm getting
Keystone.
more
Literally,
deep
I have
eddies.
not had a Keystone Light since like fucking 1991.
Oh, I was gonna say since high school for me, but yeah.
That would be high school.
It's,
Oh,
I feel like it's been 20 years for me, but maybe
Oh.
not.
dating.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Some
I
deep
saw-
eddies.
I was looking at a Yelp review of a local restaurant and was flipping through the pictures, and they had a picture of their beer cooler, and they had a bunch of Olympias in there. I was like,
Oh,
"Aw."
Olympias. Now that is 100% high school.
Yeah, well, that was
Yeah.
so that's
Cheapest
the
beer you could get.
that was the beer that my dad drank, and that's what I learned to drink beer on. And that's probably why I grew, like, usually I think you hear about people like, you first time you try beer and you're like, "Ugh, it's terrible."
yeah.
I mean, how far is Olympia from water? Like, it's just not that far. And
It's like
as a
gross
kid,
water.
Yes.
yeah, to this day, I still have a
There's lot of
warm spot in my heart for Olympia. Like, I like the taste of Olympia. It yeah.
No, I have the same thing for like Bartles and James.
Yeah. Oh my
Right?
God. There's a
Because like
Wine
my
coolers.
parents didn't drink beer in the house. There was never beer in the house, but they had wine coolers.
yeah.
And every once in a while, they buy those 4 packs of wine coolers, right? And I'm like, one.
Yeah, the pink
And, like,
ones.
Drinking the pink, the drink Bartles and James. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh my God.
what were those things? Like 3.5%? They're probably 3.2. It's like
Yeah.
no booze
It's-
in them. It's like
No,
Yeah.
it's like kombucha now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
Doesn't
drinking
even
strong
count.
stuff here, but yeah, I totally got busted stealing Bartles and James from my dad in high school. What are you drinking those wine coolers for? You're too young.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to really
Dude,
build up to those
Dad,
wine
You're a
coolers.
pussy.
Yeah, you start in the Oli.
All right. So this is the last one of the Stones.
Dude, well done. So are you gonna drink a real beer
Mission
after that or
accomplished.
what?
Yeah, if
Right.
I must.
Yeah,
I mean,
because don't you have you've got your kegs and you got to work
the
your way.
kegs are all gone. They're completely
What?
empty. I'm
Oh,
bone
that's why
dry.
you're drinking that.
You're totally
that
dry.
I
stuff.
have been bone dry.
What?
I ran out like
Dude, just
4
order that
days
stuff.
ago on the kegs.
These were the
But,
free cakes. These were the free cakes you got.
So
You got
I
the
doubt
one- yeah,
I
the
doubt
free.
Kevin is listening in, but Kevin up in Auburn, the name of his arcade is questionable because it's called Out of Order Arcade, right? Carrie, you
Yeah.
agree with me?
Yeah,
all our
no,
games
it's
are
poor
broken.
choice.
But yes,
Yeah.
so his arcade. He has a bar / arcade that's been closed for weeks now. But he told me, he's like, hey, you want these 2 kegs? It's like less than half price that what it would cost me normally. So I'm probably going to go meet up with him tomorrow, but
good man. I would expect nothing less of you.
I don't know where I'm getting at with this shit.
But you might be a little hungover.
Yes.
You pinch your pennies, half price. Wherever you can find it, stock up. That's what I say.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's to the last of the keystones.
Kill that thing. Save your
kill
son.
that shit. I think this is my 14th
Cheers.
or 15th, by the way.
Dude.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rest
that's a
in
lot
peace,
of fluid.
Wednesday.
You won't. Yeah,
Sorry.
you don't need a
Fuck
number 2 with
Sunday.
those. Yeah.
So Adam,
Hydrate.
so what's it going to take to keep you like coming to the show to us? Do we do
You have it on
Saturday
Saturdays.
shows?
I can do the
Saturday nights
Saturdays.
is the
Is
beginning.
it Saturdays? We just like
Saturdays works for me. It's
Yeah.
just
All
the
right.
Tuesdays, man. I just can't do
Yeah.
it.
no,
Yeah,
understood.
I hear you there.
And I used to drive into work on Tuesdays, so it was
Yeah.
brutal
Oh.
for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this
So
whole
super
Corona
long
thing is
day.
like, it's opening up a whole new
Yeah.
bunch of opportunities. So,
I know.
but yeah, no, Saturday night works.
Nice. So we'll definitely keep doing the
Saturdays are
Saturdays
fun.
thing at least as long
Cool.
as this quarantine lasts.
Have you been able to do much in your arcade and
Yeah.
working on stuff?
I haven't done anything games related forever. I just haven't.
Yeah.
This year was a brutal year for me work wise. Just
I hear you.
very, very demanding on my time and everything else. And I spend all day doing design work, and so the last thing I want to do when I come home is just
Yeah,
do
I
more
hear
of
you
that
there.
stuff.
I
And
hear
so
you
it's just
there.
like I want to do the exact opposite. I just want to be outdoors or spend time with.
You're like,
my
I'm
family,
done with ray
whatever.
tracing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see real
And you're-
rays tracing
Right.
Yes.
outside. Like,
Yeah. And your kids are at that age where it's like you want to spend time with them while they still want to spend time with you, because
well,
that's going
so-
to end. They're going to have their own lives and go off at some
Well,
point.
so
Yeah.
my daughter is a freshman at college, and this is my son's senior year. And so
Yeah.
he'll be gone next year. So it's trying to just spend time with them as much as possible. And it really sucks for him because this is his senior year. Everything's kind of coming up to this moment, and he's
Yes.
missing
so
everything.
graduation's
Yeah,
been
so he's
No
missing
prom, no
stuff.
graduation.
Yeah,
no,
my
you
younger
know,
son, exact same situation.
Grad
yeah,
night.
it's
Right.
brutal. Yeah.
Exact same situation.
So I just been trying to encourage him, telling him it's like, I know it sucks, but it's like every senior kid in the nation is going through the same thing. Don't think
Yeah.
it's just you. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
So I don't know if that
Yeah.
really helps, but
It's the entire graduating class. Yeah.
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 Adam, I took this picture of my son earlier.
Oh,
today.
nice.
So
That's
he picked
awesome.
this up
Aw.
today. This
Oh, that's
graduation.
awesome.
They put him on their lawn normally, and he picked
Yeah.
it up today. So yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Not very focused, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
I
all.
feel
That's,
you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean,
those are some of the ones you feel hard for, like.
Because you look back and it's like, I don't know, at least for me, high school wasn't that great, but like those last couple months were just awesome.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It just
Yes.
felt like, you were treated like minor celebrities at school. All the kids
Yeah.
and the teachers were cool and everybody else. And it was just like,
Exactly.
I don't know, the work fizzled away. So it just became this big social experience. And,
Exactly. Yeah.
Beat up the grade
missing out
niners.
on that, so it kind of sucks.
And Chris, I've talked to your son before, and I remember him telling me that he's a scholar. He's done really well in school, and it kind of sucks that he doesn't get to
Yeah.
celebrate
Can I do?
at the end.
Can I do Can I do a Zoom prom?
Yeah, right.
like a
they've
virtual
talked
prom.
about, a lot of the
There-
schools are looking at options.
There's basically my wife's a teacher at the school my son's graduating from too, by the way, but they're looking at 3 options. They're either going to do an online graduation, which all the parents are against that. They want the physical see it thing.
Well, you can't have your cake and eat it too right now.
And then the other 2 options are either they were going to do it in August, but now they're talking November or December Christmas break, where it's like a physical in person, because they have to time it right with the school when school's out.
So you could literally be in college, but going
Yes,
to
there will be
graduation.
yes.
Yeah.
But
Oh
it's,
man,
you
think
know-
about this though. Like, think about like what are they going to do for like their 10-year class reunion? With the how is that going to
Such
affect it?
stories.
Hopefully they'll have.
I would
5,
hope back to just
Yeah.
pretend it's back to whatever would have
Right,
been
like-
the regular date.
But in some ways, I mean, it would kind of suck because some people won't be able to make graduation if they did it later. Because obviously they'll be out in maybe some other part of the country, or or somewhere in the world. But it would also be kind of fun to be able to come back and see friends relatively close. So rather than waiting for your 5 or 10 year reunion, but to, it's like you've had a handful of months and didn't hear you coming together to celebrate with your friends again. That there's a cool factor to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's rough for the seniors this year.
Yeah, you think they'd at least be able to maybe do the walk or something like that, but then televise it so the parents don't have to all crowd into the gymnasium or the auditorium or whatever.
Yeah, but everybody
They'll
wants to
all be
there.
standing on
That's
treadmills with virtual
right?
backgrounds.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be there with their cell phones. Just on treadmills.
Yeah, treadmills with the virtual background.
Yeah. I tried to explain it to my son. It was different for me too, because when my senior year, I was like, I wanted to get the hell out of school. I was like so focused on other things.
Me too.
I actually took a summer class and technically graduated early.
That was yoga, right?
Yeah. But I still went back for the regular graduation. And what was so bizarre was like me and like 4 other girls that were the only ones that went back for graduation. And in their case, it was because they had kids. They got pregnant, had babies their senior year.
Oh.
So people were joking, saying like I had something to do with that, right?
You knocked at least one of those girls up.
Yeah, right.
You're being a good father.
Yeah. So
surprise, boys! You have a younger sister or brother.
Yeah. So, yeah, whatever. It'll be fun stories to tell later on. That's the way I look at it. So.
How's he taking it? Is he all right with it, or is he kind of missing it?
I think his biggest thing is because this was his senior year, so he's on the varsity team of his what is it? So track and field. So he was doing the discus and shot put, and he was doing really well with that.
I knew you were going with that.
Cut out. So yeah, discus and shot put. He was doing really well with that.
We're making stupid arcade jokes. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Heck stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, just ignore us. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Dickus.
Yeah.
That's always a good course of action. Ignoring you guys.
So
keep going.
he was just like excited about being like big shit on the campus kind of thing with that, right? But it just poof went bye. But whatever. It's all good. So.
Adam, I got a question for you. Do you have a 3D printer?
I don't. It's on my list of things to get. I would love to play with one. I don't know what I would make with it, though,
I've been looking for recommendations. Like I've been slowly shopping. Now that I have a pinball machine, I've been like my eyes have been opened about like, oh, it'd be nice to have it for this or that, and mostly for arcade and pinball stuff. But I have no CAD experience, but I've been very interested and intrigued, and I have friends that have 3D printers, and so I've been starting to shop, but my mind is just like overwhelmed because you can spend as little or as much as you want.
Yeah.
And that like even looking at reviews, it doesn't really help me because like I find amazing reviews for a $400 3D printer, and then the same amount of great reviews for a $2,000, so like you can spend as little or as much as you want. So like, I'm very slowly considering it, and it sounds like a lot of fun, especially now to tinker with,
Sure. Yeah, it's on the list. One of these days I'll get one of that and like a CNC routing type thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
That's right up the Gax alley. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yep.
You see him drooling at the side. It's like laser printers.
Yes.
Well, I was looking at 3D
Jimbo,
scanners.
I think the biggest key with the 3D printer stuff is I feel like, it doesn't necessarily matter what machine. It's just dialing in what the settings are.
Yeah.
So each part is different every time, like your unique pinball part is going to be different than some other widget somebody made on some other part, like the settings. And so you have to just continually tweak those settings to get it dialed and perfect on that 3D printer.
Yeah.
So if someone has actually printed your part on a cheaper, let's say cheaper 3D printer, and they got it all dialed in, you'll be set.
Yeah,
But
the
you
only
don't
thing
know.
I'm sold on is that I want something that's fully enclosed because it's not gonna be I don't have a lot of space, and I want to be able to do like ABS and the multiple different materials in a safe and in a safe environment. And so like that's the only thing I'm sold on is I want something that's enclosed, and I want it fully assembled. I don't want to do a kit.
Yeah.
So those are my two criteria. And right now I have my eye on like 2 or 3. Like honestly, the ballpark that I'm looking at right now, the printers that I've got my eyes on, no pun with eyes, but like between $600 and $800 is where I'm aiming for. And I've
I have
looked
no
at
personal experience on those levels. It's just the maker bot is like the one we got 2 of them. They were like $2,500. And then the next level up is like a $30,000 machine. So that's my personal experience.
Yeah, and Mock was telling me
those maker bots are, if you're trying to do custom stuff, it's a pain in the ass to get it dialed. But once you get dialed, it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like you might make 10 different parts before you figure it out.
Well, yeah. And I was talking to, and I understand about you do have to dial things in. You have to get it leveled. You have to do all like the settings. But I was talking to Mock a week ago on last Saturday, and he was talking about, because I've been trying to get a hold of Keith, and he's been MIA. But Mock was saying that Keith opted, he's got 2 3D printers. He's got a really expensive, like a $2,000 or $3,000 one, and then he's got this Creality brand one that's like $200, and he prefers that over the expensive one because of it's open source and it's the versatility and stuff. So that like threw my head for a spin again, because it's like, well, that doesn't really answer my question, because I started looking at those, and those are all open face. You have to, if you want it enclosed, you have to build it, and it's in a kit thing. So that's not exactly what I'm going for. But the ones I've been looking at that seem to appeal to me the most are in that $600 to $800 range. The one that I'm probably opting for is a dual extruder. It also has a laser engraver and these other whatever things I don't care about. But it's got really good reviews. It's supposed to be really easy to set up. It's fully enclosed, and so I don't know. I have to bite the bullets at some point, and it's like it doesn't really matter. It's going to be a learning curve. I know.
Yeah. Just be prepared. If you have a unique part that's never been built before, it's going to take multiple attempts to get it right.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I'm fine with that. That's part of the tinkering process.
Yeah. And how good are you at the modeling?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Like I've done a little bit of like video 3D modeling, but I'm not a CAD expert. So
so yeah, working with something that's going to work 3D. What do you guys use for building those models? And
they probably use AutoCAD or something.
Well, so I use SolidWorks for the 3D
SolidWorks,
modeling.
yeah, you do a bunch of your stuff.
But the actual I've been drinking. I can't remember the actual software for doing the 3D printing process.
Yeah. Oh, the slicer.
Yes.
So you're doing your like SolidWorks, you're exporting
Cura,
that to
Cura,
and that's what
Cura
comes with this
is
one.
The open source one.
Yeah.
That I've used more than a few times, but again, it takes a lot of tweaks and.
But are you exporting from SolidWorks into Cura?
Yeah, so it's they call it a STL file.
Yeah.
I think it's stereolithography is like the.
Oh, is that where you cross your eyes and you see a magic picture?
Yes,
show up on the
there
pattern?
you go.
Yeah.
One of those posters, right?
The posters, yeah,
So
exactly,
the 90s.
right. Yeah.
Your SolidWorks within SolidWorks, you save it as a quote unquote STL file, and then with that STL file, you can open it with Cura or whatever the other software is,
right,
and start doing tweaks with the layers and all that.
I sent a random text to Keith. I don't think he'll join, but I said, "Hey, we're talking 3D printers, so maybe he'll join." But I doubt.
Yeah, I texted him like a week and a half ago, and I never heard back from him. So I'm kind of concerned because I haven't heard a peep out of him. He hasn't been on Slack at all.
It's been a couple weeks. I'd say, yeah.
But yeah, like I've used Blender. I'm a little bit familiar with 3D modeling with film and video. but I know that once whatever you design, you pull into a slicing program that preps it for the 3D printer.
Yeah.
Like I have a basic understanding of it, but yeah. So, and that was originally like why I wanted to dabble into a 3D scanner, but that was a whole nother can of worms, and so I was like,
Yeah.
That's why I
again, the
adopted.
cleanup you'd have to do after that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the old 3D scanners.
I'm honestly more excited to do this molding process and see how that turns out. Like,
You'd almost be better off like just
materials.
measuring it yourself and like using something like what GAC uses.
Yes. Yeah.
To model it.
Well, yeah, I
Just,
believe
like,
you can
measure
do
it
it.
out and figure out the dimensions and model.
Take a
it.
caliper and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You'd do better off with that because it's gonna be more precise. The 3D scan is gonna come out, but you're gonna have to do so much cleanup work on it. It's almost more
with the
work
meshing
than just
and
modeling it from scratch.
What was the Google one that I think they changed names to
SketchUp.
Tremble? SketchUp. SketchUp became Tremble, I think.
Yep.
But that
Yeah,
used
no,
to be
I mean,
good one.
that was based on Vermal.
Well, and here's the thing, like the part that I'm
from
gonna be
Sony.
molding.
Yeah, I used to do that same. That's the reason why I'm good at SketchUp is because they did that shit back with the SGI.
Well,
So
I
that
showed you
modeler
guys
and how
that
it was
part.
built was all that SGI based, which they bought from Cosmo Worlds. So Cosmo Worlds was the original designer of that application. So where you could like take a flat surface, select what you wanted to extrude, and then drag it to extrude it.
You guys tell me how this is impossibly difficult to model and measure because this isn't a straight angle, it's a curved tube. Look at that angle. It doesn't.
What is that?
It's tricky.
The way you were holding it was like
It's the Violator 2000.
It's
is
not a
what that is.
sexual.
It fits about here.
And then you got some straps to go around your waist.
Yeah. So this is it's
a quarantine survivor Model 2.
Yeah.
It's this pipe that fits around a railing on my pinball machine. Now, granted, I don't need this part because I have got a replacement, but this broke and I glued it back together. But it's like, how do you even go about?
So in SolidWorks, we call that a lofted curve.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
you have a plane at one point and another plane at a different point, and you have the diameter or the shape you have at each point, and it's a feature that's called lofting. So it goes from one shape to the other.
Yeah. So
But
you use like
it's
Bezier
complex
curves.
stuff.
Are you using Bezier curves
like-
to build the curve for that, and then extruding it from that point, 3-dimensionally?
Yeah, and then it's got the
then you got these like little studs
yes,
or whatever
the
you want to
rib
call
for her
them.
pleasure.
They go inside too for her pleasure.
Building the tube part
So,
is
like-
just a matter of like
It hasn't gotten any more highbrow since
Yeah,
you've been
but-
gone, Adam.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
I wasn't going to
It
say
curves
anything.
to the side, but it also curves to the side.
Especially on Saturday.
Oh,
Tuesday, we have a little better shot at it. But
Yeah.
the Dominator 3000.
So, anyways, my point is that doing a mold of this is my best shot at it.
He keeps holding it in the position that makes it look like it's something completely not what it is.
Yes.
He's like, so anyway, I want to make a ton of these.
Yes. Oh shit.
I got Adam to laugh. That's a win.
Yes.
He'll be back.
I'll be back.
So
So
Jim,
anyways-
how was that actually manufactured? Was that injection molded or was that printed originally?
3D
Well,
printed.
this came from Mesomods. So,
And I guarantee you,
it's part of a
Mesomods
set.
will not share the model with you, the 3D model.
No,
Of course not,
but-
'cause you
but-
can
They'll
just
be
buy
but-
it
like,
in Rome.
that's how
But-
we're making money on these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I do have to shout out to Mesomods because not Rob, that's Lair Mods, but who is the team? Tim. He sent me a new one of these and the tubes for the rails I for a very cheap price. So he sent me it was no big deal. That's why I was able to finish Wonka, but as an experiment, that's why I'm gonna do. I bought all the supplies. I'm gonna try to do a silicone mold of this, and then cast it with a urethane plastic, which will be actually stronger than this, and see how that turns out. The trick with it is I have to do a 2-part mold, and which means half of it has to be set in clay, and the other half would be the mold. and then flip it around and do the same thing. But the trick is that because it's hollow, it's not a solid piece. I have to go about it really strategically. I've spent like the last 2 weeks like trying to figure out what's the best way to split this in 2 pieces. And I think I'm going to end up doing it like this, where I since this is hollow right here, use this as the midway point, put the clay in here, set this, do this top half first, then flip it around and do this bottom part, because this has a bigger surface area, and I can actually put my injection hole like right about here. Oh my God, there's so many jokes going on.
I know. We're being so lovey.
Mary's holding herself there. I can see
but,
it.
But I have a good game plan. But I have a good. No, this is karma. This is karma, because normally I'm on the other end of this.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, injection.
Oh, you're on the other end of that.
So,
huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's not the first time,
Ouch.
Jack. So I think I have a good game plan. I'm gonna try. Tomorrow is I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna record it. And if it's a failure, it'll be on the video too. But it's gonna be the thing is that the urethane will be a white, and so I will have to paint it, assuming it is a success. And then of course you have to with you have 2 tubes or whatever that you make, one for injecting the urethane and the other as just an air pocket so that there's no bubbles. So you do have to, I will have to take like a Dremel or whatever. No problem here. I'd love using a Dremel to buff, to cut that off and smooth it out. But we'll see what happens.
Code word for something?
The funny thing about Dremel is that I was actually excited when I was looking at 3D printers that Dremel makes a 3D printer, because I fucking love Dremel, the little tool. And I'm like, oh, they make 3D printers too, but I haven't been able to find any that have really good reviews. So
Yeah.
Somebody
anyhow,
makes it.
wow.
They just slap the Dremel name on it.
The
Probably.
Dremel name on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought my parents a Dremel. My mom was all excited. I showed her how to, you can do all these other things, and look at all these little tools you can buy for it. Like that's my favorite power tool I own is a Dremel. It's so much fun to use. I'm always looking for excuses to use that.
I love a Dremel, but my favorite power tool actually, I think, is the angle grinder, because I love the sound of it. Where it's like
that's what it sounded like.
Angle grinder.
It totally sounded like anal grinder.
Totally did. I thought you were making a joke.
It's a sister tool.
Because I love the sound it makes.
Yeah.
Grinder
perfectly in the
right? G-R-I-N-D-R.
Yeah, the grind. Yeah, it's a sister tool to. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that alone.
Yeah.
In a direction which is better than what I was going with. So
what's your handle on grinder.com, whatever app?
Yeah.
Right?
Anal angle.
Yes, there we go. Look me up.
Please find me on Grindr in all your favorite towns.
Angle grinder.
No, angle grinder.
Funny.
The only reason why is because the sound it makes when it kicks on. An angle grinder is just like cutting shit and doing. I mean, actually, my favorite tool probably is the Porta Band for the Porta Band saw, because that thing is just amazing. But I love the way the angle grinder sounds when you kick that thing on. It's like that's a power tool. It's like, and then you create
Not getting any
sparks
better.
and shit like fucking happens.
You can enunciate better, but it's still the joke is there. Especially when you talk about it cutting that shit off. I'm like, yep, that's what anal grinders do. They cut that shit off.
Andrew, have you seen the photo that maybe not? Remember Carrie early on when I was over there and I was cutting off those screws?
Yeah, I'm listening.
You remember that when I showed you how to use the Dremel to cut the head off of the screw?
Knopping the head off the screws, yeah.
Yeah.
and you took a picture and I was like the mad scientist with the sparks flying everywhere.
It's fucking
the most
fucking
overly
amazing.
used power tool in any movie, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
There's always a
Angle
construction
grinder,
scene into
that's
some guy
how
with
you
a grinder
get
just hit
sparks.
pieces of metal.
That's how you get like
Just
huge
sparks
flames.
flying.
Yeah, like rooster tails of sparks. That's
Right.
how you get it, is with an angle grinder. It's just,
Yeah, fuck welding. Yeah.
Right.
no, welding is cool. It throws like the little flowing sparks, but like an angle grinder, if you want just like on stage, just
Even like
throw-
Iron Man,
That's
where he's
to me
like
my
doing
first power
technical
tool.
little tiny stuff that's like gonna keep him alive. He's like grinding, like
Yeah.
sparks.
Yep.
Like no way.
I mean, yeah, drills are cool, and like saws, like like you get like a good like chop saw. But it's like cool, like what it does. But like when it comes down to like sparks and just like activity, angle grinders, man, those are the best.
I would say the most annoying tool,
not anal.
Yes.
Yeah. That okay. So to counter that, I would say the
more
most
about the anal because I'm
the most annoying tool would be a router then, because then you get all the mess,
It's
but none of
boring.
the sparks.
Yeah. That's unexciting. The excitement from a router is like you do it and it's like that looked fucking awesome when you're done.
It's just
It's like it's like that was so easy, and then look at that fucking curve. That's gorgeous. I mean, so you get some satisfaction when it's done, but not the sparks. I mean, come on.
You don't get the sparks.
It is a power tool. It doesn't feel like a power
All about the spark.
Power tools should make sparks.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, it doesn't matter what I'm doing with like the Dremel doesn't have to make sparks. Like I don't care if I'm using the sander or the cutter or whatever. It's like this is so awesome.
Oh,
it's like a dentist
Dremel's
tool.
the most useful. Yeah. Dremel's the most fun to use and just like works. But like when it comes down to like the power tools thing, where it's like
the Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. Yeah, exactly. Where you want to make the grunting noises like Tim Allen. Angle grinder to me is like that ultimate tool where it's like and I'm just like fucking throwing sparks all over the place. That's exciting. Yeah.
I used an angle grinder yesterday to sharpen the mower blades.
See, look at that.
Nice.
It's also a multi-use tool. You can cut shit off, you can shave shit down, you can sharpen things.
Put a wire wheel on it or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
You could throw a wire wheel on it. But
Some
it's
models
also
do
the
not accept
sound that
wire
it makes when you
wheels.
kick it on. When you because it's got that funky switch we have to throw it over the top to like make it engage and lock it in. It's like you kick that on.
It doesn't. There's no slow start, right? It's not like
no,
boom, like,
there's
like
no
bam, full speed.
Bam, yeah. You know you're using a power tool when you feel that thing kick to life.
Yeah.
That's the reason why that thing means the most.
Just
There are
make
better
sure that
tools
guard-
out there. It's just
watch
the
that
most awesome
guard.
tool.
Hey Jim, you'll drool at this one. I just got sent a sample of this one, the new Dremel Versa. Have you seen this yet?
No.
It's for power scrubbing. That'd be great for city games.
Oh,
Or
damn.
scrubbing? Like, do you hook it up to a hose?
No, this is it has the different scrubbing attachments. So you just, if you wanted to clean your game, I haven't tried it yet. I just got this.
Oh, like a control panel or something.
I've seen
Yeah.
those
Like a
for
buffer?
like
like a
power
buffer.
drills.
Yeah,
They have
okay.
like a power drill one.
Yeah.
Where
But now
you can put
this
like
is
cleaning
Dremel.
attachments on your electric drill.
Can you clean your polish your headlights on your
Knob.
Subaru or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one for the power drill is like that, where they have like different cleaning heads, like you would
Different
see,
heads.
and then you can they usually show it like cleaning your shower, like zzz, with your
Cool.
power.
So we'll be polishing our playfields very soon. With
Oh my god!
Do they have a dusting
Wow, for
one?
They have what?
one.
I fucking hate dusting. Do they
Oh,
have a
yeah.
duster? Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Damn.
Yeah.
The
just-
little-
I want
like the
Back
little
to the
dust
Future
around.
2 where they have then that's before we had dust dust resistant coating or whatever. Remember that Back to the Future 2 when they're like, this is a dust buster.
Yeah. If you
Wait,
like that, you might also be interested in something like this. This is
Yeah.
a great device from the 1980s called a Dustbuster.
Dust buster. Yeah. Of course, this was before we had dust resistant. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I never thought about it. It is kind of ironic because a dustbuster really isn't about dust. It's about
It's
a
about
mini
vacuuming.
dirt.
vacuum.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little mini
Yeah,
vacuum.
mini
It has
vac.
nothing. You wouldn't actually.
Who
use it to-
uses a dust buster anymore? No one.
Well,
When was the last time you saw someone you walked in their kitchen, they had a dustbuster mounted in the wall?
Right.
yeah, I know that's true.
Where you
My
pulled it
grandma's
off
house.
to fucking like vacuum like little
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
I have a dustbuster at my office because they don't really clean and vacuum very much, and so it's for when we we don't have good hygiene in our office. It's sad.
Hence you work from home.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it's the lowest lowest contractor because I work for the state. So they don't vacuum on a regular basis, and they shampoo the carpets, I think, every 2 or 3 years.
Inconceivable.
Oh, wow.
It's nasty, and and nothing gets clean. I mean, we have to do our own cleaning for every, and actually even the vacuuming is not a regular basis, like it's on by request, and they will bring us a vacuum and we can vacuum ourselves. Otherwise they vacuum I think a time or two a year, and they let us know. Like, we're going to be vacuuming, so put
Move
your
all
chairs
furniture or
away.
whatever. Yeah.
Yikes. What's that smell? Oh,
That's like what they
party.
do in our office,
That's
like
rotting
twice a
flesh
year
cells.
for like window cleaning. They're like, oh, by the way, we'll be window cleaning. I'm like, yeah, all right, fine, whatever. But they
Adam,
vacuum
thanks
every
for
week,
joining
at
us.
least.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
I'm gonna head out. It's after
You
2
should.
here.
We should
so-
actually shut
Yeah,
this
no, it's
down.
like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is, we're
Let's
actually
do
getting
this a
later than
late
usual.
night.
Yeah. This was fun.
So
yeah.
let's take us out here with Adam on the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks,
Jim,
man.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
the first
no,
time, I
it's
think.
Yeah.
It's been a real pleasure having you
It
back, dude.
Yeah, it's been great
Yeah,
seeing
this
you
has
guys
been-
again. I've been missing hanging out with you
This
all.
one goes out to Adam right here.
Thanks, man.
There we go.
Wayne, say
We'll see you all on Tuesday.
and die and